தமிழகத்தில் இருக்கின்ற நிலவரங்கள் குறித்து அவர் கேட்டறிந்தார். 2026 சட்டமன்ற பொதுத் தேர்தலில் அதிமுக, பாரதிய ஜனதா மற்றும் என்டிஏ கூட்டணியில் அங்கம் வைக்கின்ற கட்சிகள் ஒருங்கிணைந்து எப்படியெல்லாம் செயல்பட வேண்டும் என்ற கருத்தை பரிமாறிக்கொண்டோம். அடுத்த ஆண்டு நடைபெறுகின்ற தமிழகத்தில் நடைபெறுகின்ற சட்டமன்ற பொதுத் தேர்தலில் அனைத்து இந்திய அண்ணா திராவிட முன்னேற்ற கழகம், பாரதிய ஜனதா மற்றும் தேசிய ஜனநாயக கூட்டணியில் அங்கம் வைக்கின்ற கட்சிகள் ஒருங்கிணைந்து மக்கள் விரோத திமுக ஆட்சி அகற்றப்பட வேண்டும். அதற்கான திட்டங்களை நாங்கள் இப்பொழுது ஆரம்ப கட்ட பேச்சுவார்த்தை நடத்துகின்றோம். இன்றைக்கு தமிழகம் முழுவதும் மக்கள் ஒரு கொந்தளிப்போடு இருக்கின்றார்கள். இந்த ஆட்சியை, திராவிட முன்னேற்ற கழக ஆட்சி அகற்றப்பட வேண்டும். அதற்கு உண்டான நடவடிக்கையை அதிமுக, பாரதிய ஜனதா, தேசிய ஜனநாயக கூட்டணியில் அங்கம் வைக்கின்ற கட்சிகளும் ஒருங்கிணைந்து செயல்படும். அடுத்த ஆண்டு நடைபெறுகின்ற சட்டமன்ற தேர்தலில் அதிமுக, பாரதிய ஜனதா தலைமையில் அமைக்கப்பட்ட கூட்டணி மிகப்பெரிய வெற்றி பெற்று ஆட்சி அமைக்க என்பதை தெரிவித்துள்ளது.
All right, we have Sharda with us on the phone line. Sharda, what are the latest details? The Bharatiya Janata Party has begun seat-sharing negotiations with the AIADMK, which is heading the National Democratic Alliance in Tamil Nadu for 2026 assembly elections.
The conversations between the ADMK and BJP has started today, has begun today. It is expected that in the seat-sharing process, the BJP and the AIADMK will be talking about getting at least 30 seats for the elections. And it's also the main conversation between the AIADMK and BJP today, because Piyush has taken as charge as the election in charge of the state. And this is not the first time. Back in 2019, Piyush Goyal was the person who brought BJP and the AIADMK seat sharing process. And it's expected that the process is going on smooth this time as well, as Piyush Goyal has a good relationship with Aravali and the AIADMK leader, and Piyush Goyal together has been constantly discussing from 2019 about what will be the future of Tamil Nadu, and now officially the talks for the seat sharing is begin. Earlier it was said that the BJP was asking for 50 seats, but back in 2019 they got 20. Now sources from both the parties say that the number would land at 30, and expecting that out of the 234 seats, BJP will be contesting in 30 strong seats, which the core committee has discussed today, as well as...
All right, moving to our next big breaking news that is coming right now at this moment, ladies and gentlemen. Another big breaking news on your television screens. As you can see, a BJP district vice president, Anju Bhargav, has assaulted and abused a visually impaired girl in MP's Jabalpur. As you can very well see the visuals, the video on your television screen, a visually impaired girl in MP's Jabalpur was assaulted and abused by a BJP district vice president, Anju Bhargav. By the visuals, you can very well understand. And the MP was claiming that she was enabling religious conversion, and that too with a cop just standing by, as you can very well see. So this is the video. This is on camera. You can see a BJP district vice president, Anju Bhargav, assaulted and abused a visually impaired girl in MP's Jabalpur. In MP's Jabalpur, she is a visually impaired girl whom you can see sitting on the chair. All right, viewers, it's time for a short commercial break. But coming up next, Delhi High Court suspends life sentence of ex-BJP MLA Kuldeep Singh Sengar in Unnao rape case.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला।
QSMTHE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला। MDH।
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा प्योर मसाला।
We are willing to put an end to this conflict via peaceful means based on the principles that I outlined in July last year when
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है।
अरे मेरे राजा,
राजा प्योर मसाला।
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल। ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
झुमका, तेरा झुमका, तेरा झुमका।
नॉट देयर, मेरा काउंटर टॉप टूट जाएगा।
तेरा झुमका।
मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
In a significant development in the long-standing Unnao rape case, the Delhi High Court suspended the life imprisonment sentence of expelled BJP leader Kuldip Singh Sengar, who was convicted in 2019 for the rape of a minor in 2017 and the subsequent custodial death of her father. Some conditions have been put in place, but serious questions being raised about the order that has been passed. Joining me on this broadcast is Asha Devi, Nirbhaya's mother. आशा जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद रिपब्लिक टीवी से बात करने के लिए। आज जिस तरह के ऑर्डर पास किया गया कुलदीप सिंह सेंगर को लेकर सवाल ये उठाया जा रहा है कि आखिरकार लाइफ इम्प्रिजनमेंट हटाने की किस बात पर है, किस बात पर लाइफ इम्प्रिजनमेंट हटाया जा रहा है और किस तरह के मैसेज ये हम देश को भेज रहे हैं।
देखिए ये तो बिल्कुल उस परिवार के लिए बिल्कुल सही नहीं हुआ, क्योंकि अगर किसी को उम्र कैद की सजा दी गई है और हाई कोर्ट में आके उसको बिल्कुल बेल पे भेज दिया जाए तो ये तो एक गलत संदेश गया। उसमें भी इतने पावरफुल आदमी।
बेल की बात नहीं हो रही है, इस पर यह कहा जा रहा है कि लाइफ इम्प्रिजनमेंट जो पहले दिया गया था उसे सस्पेंड किया जाता, जब तक कुलदीप सिंह सेंगार की जो एप्लीकेशन है, जो अपील है, जब तक उसकी सुनवाई हो रही तब तक लाइफ इम्प्रिजनमेंट को हटाया जा रहा है। ये इसीलिए कई लोग सवाल उठा रहे हैं, ये बेल की बात हो ही नहीं रही, ये बेल से कई गुना ज्यादा है।
ये ऐसा तो बिल्कुल नहीं होना चाहिए। फिर तो और केसों में भी जब तक सुनवाई चलेगी तो सब मुजरिम कहेंगे कि हमारे सजा को हटा दिया जाए। ये तो बिल्कुल गलत संदेश जा रहा है, ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं होना चाहिए। क्योंकि आप थोड़े दिन पहले हम उस परिवार से हमारी दिल्ली में ही मुलाकात हुई थी। वो जो लड़का है वो कह रहा था उसकी खुद की 3 बेटियां हैं, वो सिक्योरिटी में रहते हैं, उनको जो बेटियां हैं छोटी छोटी उनको स्कूल नहीं भेज सकते, वो डर के साए में जीते हैं। और अगर ऐसा फैसला आ रहा है कि नहीं तब तक उस सजा को हटाया जाए, फिर सुनवाई किया जाए, तो ये तो बिल्कुल समझ से बाहर है सर। ऐसा होना नहीं चाहिए, खासकर को जब महिलाओं और बच्चियों की सुरक्षा की बात है तो मैं तो इस फैसले से बिल्कुल
आशा जी, मैं ये सवाल इसलिए कर रहा हूं क्योंकि आपने कई लोगों के लिए आपने एक जस्टिस की लड़ाई की, और एक तरह से आप देखा जाए तो आप एक तरह के सिंबल है, जस्टिस की सिंबल माना जाती है। अब जब ये सवाल उठाया जाता है कि जो पावरफुल है,
सजा हटा के हमारी सुनवाई की जाए, हमारी फांसी की सजा हटा के हमारी सुनवाई किया जाए, तो ये कोई सुनवाई थोड़ी है, ये तो केसों के और विक्टिमों के साथ मजाक है। ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं होना चाहिए।
सवाल वापस यही उठाया जाएगा जिनके पास पावर है। आखिरकार बीजेपी के लेजिस्लेटर रह चुके हैं ये, और साथ ही साथ एक स्ट्रॉन्ग मैन माना जाता है उत्तर प्रदेश में। जब उनकी स्टेट में उनके सेंटेंस को सस्पेंड किया जाता है तो सवाल यही उठाया जाएगा कि हमारे देश में जिसके पास पैसा है, जिसके पास पावर है, उसी को न्याय मिल सकता है।
बिल्कुल हमारी बच्चियां वैसे ही कुचली जाएंगी, ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं होना चाहिए। क्योंकि आप ये सोचिए ना कि एक ही नहीं है, हजारों सैकड़ों लाखों में लोग जेल में भरे हैं, तब तो सब लोग कहेंगे कि हमारी फांसी की सजा हुई है उसको हटा के, हमारी उम्र कैद की सजा हुई है उसको हटा के आप सुनवाई करिए। तो ये तो बिल्कुल नहीं होना चाहिए। हमारा पुलिस से, कोर्ट से, सरकार से सबसे अपील है कि जो भी अपील उनकी है, जो भी विक्टिम का केस है, उसको देखते हुए जिस तरह से उनकी सजा है उसको बरकरार रखते हुए ही सुनवाई कीजिए। और जो भी आपका फैसला है बच्चियों के हित में होना चाहिए, विक्टिमों के हित में होना चाहिए, समाज के हित में होना चाहिए।
आशा जी, आपने कई बार समाज के लिए कई सारे ऐसे इश्यूज हैं जिसके लेकर आपने मुहिम छेड़ा है। आज आप ऐसे उन्नाव की रेप विक्टिम के बारे में क्या कहना चाहेंगे? क्योंकि उनके पास कोई उपाय नहीं है, क्योंकि उनके पास ना ही ये पैसा है कि वो वापस कोर्ट में जाए, अर्जी लगाए, और उन लोगों के लिए कोई सुनवाई नहीं होने वाली है। उनके लिए कौन खड़ा रहने वाला है? कुलदीप सेंगर के लिए कई सारे लॉयर्स हैं, कई लोग हैं उनके लिए, पर उन्नाव के रेप विक्टिम, उनके लिए कौन खड़ा रहेगा?
देखिए, हम ऐसा नहीं सोच सकते कि हम उनके लिए कोई नहीं है। उनके लिए कोर्ट है, सरकार है, वहां की पुलिस है। उस परिवार को सहायता मिलनी चाहिए, सिक्योरिटी मिलनी चाहिए, और जो भी ये उस बच्ची के साथ घटना हुई है उसको इंसाफ मिलना चाहिए। जो भी ये सुनने में आ रहा है कि नहीं ये फैसला को अलग रख के सुनवाई चलेगी, तो ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं होना चाहिए। क्योंकि एक नया नियम बच जाएगा। जो भी मुजरिम है कहेंगे कि हमको जो सजा मिली है उससे हमको हटा के हम अपील करते हैं हमारी सुनवाई हो। तो एक तो हमारे देश में बच्चियां वैसे ही असुरक्षित हैं। ऐसे फैसले हमारे समाज के लिए, हमारे बच्चों के लिए बिल्कुल सही नहीं है। तो ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। हमारे कोर्ट से, हमारी सरकार से चाहे यूपी सरकार है, चाहे हमारी केंद्र सरकार है, हम सबसे अपील करते हैं कि उस बच्ची को इंसाफ मिले, निष्पक्ष जांच हो। जो भी ये सुनने को आ रहा है कि रूल की उनका फैसले को अलग रख के इसकी सुनवाई होगी या वो दिल्ली में रहेंगे, उसके पास नहीं जाएंगे, तो ऐसा कुछ ये बवंडर नहीं होना चाहिए। साफ सुथरा, चाहे उनकी अपील हो चाहे उनकी अपील हो, जिस तरह की सजा मिली है वो सजा को बरकरार रखते हुए इस पे सुनवाई होनी चाहिए। मैं तो यही चाहूंगी।
आशा जी, एक आखिरी सवाल करना चाहूंगा, क्योंकि ऐसे वक्त में कई लोग अपने आप को बेबस समझते हैं और उन्नाव के रेप विक्टिम, उनके परिवार वालों के पास भी, जैसे कि मैंने आपको कहा है कि उनके पास इतना साधन नहीं है कि वो अपने लड़ाई को आगे बढ़ाए। इसीलिए सवाल यही उठता है कि ये वक्त आता है कि सबको एक मुहिम चलाना चाहिए कि आखिरकार अपने आवाज़ को सुनाना चाहिए, ताकि कोर्ट को ये सुनाई दे कि देश में लोग क्या सोचते हैं, कि क्या जिनके पास पैसा है, जिनके पास पावर है, क्या वही उनको ही न्याय मिलेगा? उनका क्या, जिनके पास ना पैसा है ना पावर है?
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। बिल्कुल हम लोग जैसे लोग इस चीज के लिए आवाज उठाएंगे। सरकार से, कोर्ट से हमारी रिक्वेस्ट है कि ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। अगर ऐसा होने लगे तो देश में 50% से ज्यादा अमीर लोग हैं, 50% ऐसे लोग हैं जिनके पास खाने के नहीं है, केस के लड़ने के लिए नहीं है। तो वैसे लोगों के लिए भी सरकार को और कोर्ट को इस बारे में सोचना चाहिए, और उस परिवार को हम सब लोगों का सपोर्ट मिलेगा। हम लोग उसके लिए आवाज उठाएं और उस बच्ची को, उस परिवार को इंसाफ मिलेगा।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आशा जी हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए, और यही चाहेंगे कि हर कोई इसको लेकर सवाल उठाए, क्योंकि आखिरकार हमारी आवाज़ कोर्ट तक पहुंचनी चाहिए कि कई लोग के पास कोई साधन नहीं है इस पूरे मुहिम को छेड़ने के लिए। इसीलिए आशा जी, आप और आप जैसे कई लोग अगर अपनी आवाज़ उठाएं तो ही ये कोर्ट तक पहुंच सकती है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आशा जी हमसे बात करने के लिए। Well, in fact, questions are essentially now being raised about the judgment that has been passed. What does that effectively mean? While some conditions have been put in place, for instance, Kuldeep Sengar cannot go within the perimeter of 5 kilometers of the victim's house here. But is that really enough? While an appeal has already been filed in the court, and till the time, the pendency of this appeal, this sentence remains suspended. Effectively, bail has been granted, which would mean that he walks out of the jail. But right now, because of another case that has been registered against Kuldeep Sengar, it seems that the legislator will not be stepping out of the jail. The sentence to the rapist has been suspended. Let me also bring in Swapnil Kothari, who is joining us on this broadcast. Swapnil, help us understand how exactly is this possible? So on the one hand, you have an appeal that has already been filed in the court by Kuldeep Sengar, challenging this conviction. Keeping that aside, you have a bail that has already been granted.
Shravan, I cannot hear anything.
Swapnil, we'll try and just fix that audio.
Okay, now I can hear you. I can hear you now.
The question that I was asking you is that it is quite surprising, because you already have an appeal that has been filed by Kuldeep Singh Sengar in the court challenging the conviction that was given in the year 2019. It seems that this has been taken on certain arguments that have been made by Kuldeep Singh Sengar's lawyer in the court. It completely comes across as bizarre. Help us understand, what does this order essentially mean?
Well, I'm at a loss to understand. I'll have to read the order in detail, but whatever I've read it, about it on bar and the bench, and, that is usually the platform that we go to, a live law. And, whatever I'm hearing on television, I think it sounds a little absurd to me. 15 lakh bond is way too high a bond. So that means basically what you're trying to do is that pay me the money and, pay the court the money, and then try to, barter your way out, or get your way out eventually in the future, that you will be possibly acquitted or anything of that sort. sort. Alternatively, it could also mean that, look, your case is so gruesome, and the fact that your offense is so gruesome that you need to pay this kind of a bond if you need to get out. But my question is basically on the principle itself. You have a bail principle. The principle of bail is very simple, that you will comply with the conditions of the bail. You will not get a bail unless and until you have circumstances that mitigate the fact that you need to be personally liberated from the confines of the jail, and that you have a chance possibly of a very remote possibility once again of an acquittal. So now in this kind of a case, you have what sections are there? POCSO section is there, criminal intimidation is there, rape is there. Now and kidnapping. I mean, I don't see any reason how this person can even be acquitted in the future, assuming that you have the best lawyers and trying to fight out an appeal. There are several precedents to the effect that, in fact, which go against him, Shravan. So I'm a little astonished that you can grant him bail if you feel so, that he served certain amount of sentence, but don't use the word suspended. I think that sends a very, very wrong message, saying that the trial court has erred in a way in granting a sentence to him.
But is there a precedence?
That's the reason why on appeal
is there a precedence in this case? Because what I see, there isn't one.
I'm sorry?
Is there a precedence?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Swapnil, the question that I'm asking you, have we seen this in the past? Is there a precedence to this particular case?
Not to my knowledge, not to the best of my knowledge. I mean, I've been practicing since 30 years. This sounds a very, very absurd thing. It could be one or two of stray cases, but there could be an absolute reasoning behind it, which may have legitimized the fact that the trial court erred in passing a judgment of that sort. But then nothing stops the Delhi High Court, or any High Court for that matter, to come to a conclusion, to arrive at that observation and say that there is a possibility that the trial court has erred. And then when you say that there is a possibility, and then when you use the word suspended the sentence, then it makes a lot of sense to me, or to any practical person who's reading or to looking at it, and more importantly so to lawyers. But to not use that phrase and to just say that the sentence is suspended, it somehow sends shivers down my spine to say that possibly this man is going to succeed in an appeal and trying to get his judgment overturned, and to whatever extent of the sentence that he served, so be it. Like any other under trials who've languished in jail for ad nauseum for crimes that they did not commit. So are you equating him on par with them, saying that, oh, fine, he's sort of served a sentence for, say, 3-4 years, and nevertheless the trial court erred in passing this judgment. There was not enough evidence to that effect, and there are mitigating circumstances, and this case has not been proved beyond reasonable doubt. I mean, what is this? Is there some sort of a political influence? I don't want to use that phrase. I don't want to use that, but a 15 lakh bond, and to say that the suspense is sentence is suspended, and then to put down these 4-5 conditions, which are very reasonable, which are not something which are draconian, which anybody will follow. If I'm allowed to get out of the confines of a cage, I'll be very happy to follow them, Shravan. But I don't understand, why am I out in the first place? What is this? I don't understand. I absolutely do not understand. And with the highest of respect to the High Courts and to the Delhi High Court in particular, I would want to read this reasoning in extenso, in detail. There has to be a reasoning that has to be given, because otherwise it opens up a can of worms and a Pandora's box for other gruesome cases, for people who are serving sentences halfway and somewhere they're appeal with the appeal pending, that, we can get out. Parole and furlough are out in this case. This is a clear-cut sort of a semi-judgment acquitting me in some sort.
Swapnil, in terms of the options available, in fact, I was asking this question to Nirbhaya's mother, because as far as the Unnao rape victim is concerned, the tragedy that the family has seen from losing their loved ones, the father also undergoing through a traumatic time, it seems that they would not be left with much of an option right now. If at all there is, what are the options available right now before the Unnao rape victims' family?
I think the options that are available for the rape victims' kith and kin is to go back to the High Court and try to file some sort of a review application or anything of that sort, and say that this is a very, very, very judgment which suffers from non-application of mine to the best of my knowledge, to use the legal language. And please pray explain to us as to why this word or this phrase suspension of sentence has been used. Other than that, I don't think this person has got any chance otherwise, because I see in the coming appeal, this conviction is bound to be commuted to possibly the sentence that he's served already, and he gets out free, or maybe 6 months or a year more, or alternatively, an entire conviction overturned and the sentence squashed. Right. So that is what I see. So you have to go in appeal. I mean, you have to file a review for this. I don't see any reason, because otherwise you don't stand a very, very solid legal ground, especially when you're arguing the merits of in the appeal.
Thank you very much, Swapnil, for joining us on this broadcast. Just before I let you go, Swapnil, just a quick question, because you're saying that there isn't a precedence, not to your knowledge. But having said that, does it sound a little surprising, because you have the appeal already pending in the court? Not that he has spent enough number of years behind bars. Had that been the case, then that argument could have also been taken into consideration. That logic could have been taken into consideration. The conviction comes in the year 2019. It's barely few years.
Well, you've laid it out yourself. I mean, it's bizarre. It doesn't make any logic to me, make any sense to me whatsoever why this phraseology has been used. Suddenly a 15 lakh bond is there coming into the picture with these 4-5 conditions that Rhythm spelled out earlier. I absolutely, Shravan, I would want to read this, and I would strongly recommend to the lawyers of the rape victim and the kith and kin who are fighting on her behalf, to go back to the High Court and try to get and make some sense out of it and try to get that phraseology out. Yes, you want to grant bail. You've got all the powers to grant bail. Nothing stops you in the world. You are the High Court within your jurisdiction of, you are allowed to give that bail. So be it. But at the end of the day, remove this phraseology of and clarify that this is no way going to affect the merits of the case. This is what courts do normally, that by no stretch of imagination should this 15 lakh bond or should these conditions of bail tantamount to the fact that there is some sort of a mitigating circumstance as far as the offense is concerned, and, leave it at that. Just leave it at that. Otherwise, it sends a very, 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 very wrong signal. I mean, at the first blush, even a third-year law student would be appalled. Trust me. Much less somebody with practicing since 3 decades. I mean, this is very astonishing to me, especially when this case has made so much headlines, when it's there. POXO is there. A POXO section is there. I mean, come on, POXO sections don't just come into the picture just like that.
Thank you very much, Swapnil, for helping us at least put this into perspective, because no one can really wrap their head around this entire order that has been passed and what is the logic behind this. Thank you very much for joining us on this broadcast. Well, shifting focus now to the other top story that we are getting to you. This is from Odisha, where the Odisha government has ordered a special audit into the purchase and customization of 51 Mahindra Thar vehicles for the Forest Department. Now, there are allegations of irregularities. Now, the vehicles were bought for about 7 crore rupees, but they spent an additional 5 crore rupees, and that too for modifications. These modifications, they say, was certain requirements that they had, sparking a massive controversy there with regards to the customization. The Forest Minister, Ganesh Ram Singh Kuntia, has now directed an audit citing concerns over the procurement process and whether due procedure was actually followed. Now, the customized vehicles have been equipped with 21 add-ons for enhanced patrolling and surveillance and have been deployed across 22 wildlife divisions, including a tiger reserve in the area. Now, interestingly, this happens at a time when the government isn't really spending enough money to at least send their own sportsmen for a wrestling championship, where they're essentially seen in a video that has also been accessed. We're going to put that out in a short while from now, where you could actually see those going for a wrestling championship representing the state of Odisha are sitting next to a lavatory in the train, and there isn't much money that they have to spend on their sports person. But take a look at what's really happening here, where you have roughly about additional 5 crore rupees just to make these specifications. On your screen right now, these were the Mahindra Thar vehicles that were used by the Forest Department
of the Odisha government, and they say that this was on the basis of certain requirements, specifications that actually came in. In fact, the forest minister has also spoken on this entire issue, saying that an audit has been carried out. Let me also take you through what else is making news at this hour. This is Bharat in 1 minute. An incident was reported in Naveen Madni in Hapur, Uttar Pradesh. As per the reports, 3 fire tenders were taken to the spot. The fire was also prevented from spreading to other shops. 3 shops, however, were completely damaged. BJP parliamentarian Jagdish Shettar from Belgavi highlighted rampant corruption and infighting between Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar. He said that the entire administration of the Karnataka government has completely collapsed and no officers are hearing anybody's words. Infighting is going on to damage the development of Karnataka. Delhi NCR continues to be blanketed by thick smog. Flight operations have been severely affected at the Delhi airport due to heavy fog. Thick fog continues to reduce the visibility across the northern plains and the national capital, disrupting trains and flights for an 8th straight day. Security forces have launched a major overnight search operation amid Pakistan-backed infiltration threats on the international border. Search operation is underway in border areas of Samba district since 3 o'clock this morning. Jammu and Kashmir police personnel have also been deployed on the ground for the searches. Houses located along the traditional infiltration routes have been thoroughly searched. Police teams are also scanning riverbeds and nearby streams for any suspicious activity. A chilling honor killing in Karnataka's Hubballi has now been reported. A 7-month-old pregnant woman was allegedly beaten to death by her own father over her intercaste marriage. Police say the crime was premeditated, with close relatives also involved. Here is a full report.
A chilling and brutal murder of a 7 months pregnant woman, and that too by her own father. The incident happened in Inam Veerapura village of Hubballi in Karnataka. The woman allegedly killed for marrying outside her caste. The victim, identified as Manya Patil, was attacked on Sunday evening by her family, who opposed her intercaste love marriage. Police say the father assaulted his daughter with an iron rod. CCTV footage shows him holding the weapon moments before the attack.
One incident has happened where 3 people have assaulted one family members. In that incident, one lady, Manya Patil, has succumbed to her injuries. She was attacked by her father only and relatives. One victim, Manya Patil, she has succumbed to her injuries. She has been declared dead now by the hospitals.
Manya's in-laws were also attacked when they attempted to save her. Her mother-in-law sustained serious injuries and is currently undergoing treatment. Manya was rushed to hospital in critical condition and succumbed to her injuries later that night. Investigations revealed the couple met through social media and had earlier sought police protection after receiving threats from the woman's family. They returned to the village only a few days ago after a compromise was facilitated by the local administration. Hubballi Rural Police have arrested 3 accused so far, including the victim's father. A special investigation team has been formed, with police categorically treating the case as a clear instance of honor killing.
Amid infiltration threats from Pakistan, security forces have launched an overnight search operation along the India-Pakistan border. Search operations were carried out across multiple locations of Samba district. Here's a quick report coming in from Samba.
Jammu and Kashmir police is carrying out intensified operations all along the international border amid the threats from across the border. It's the early morning and the search operations are continuing in the area of the Samba. This is very close to the Indo-Pakistan international border. You will see that the officials as well as the Jawans of the Jammu and Kashmir police, they are carrying out the intensified searches. Step by step they are moving inside these houses because there lies a threat that the areas that lies, the population that is close to the international border, that might be used for some anti-national activities by the elements that are detrimental to the security of the country. And there you will see that all these trunks, all the places where something can be kept, even the jars, the containers, everything is being checked with the torches. They have the weapons with them, everything they are tagging along with them. Reason being that the threat perception is imminent. There have been regular inputs that the security forces are getting from the intelligences that there is a larger plot that is being hashed by the adversary, that is Pakistan. It is trying to disrupt the peace by carrying out the attacks on the eve of New Year.
Well, protest outside Bangladesh mission over Deepu Das's lynching. There's been a massive Hindu mobilization that has taken place across the country. Getting you the report on the other side.
MDH की देगी मीरज,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मीरज।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
We are
from Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Welcome back, friends. A shocker coming in. The High Court has let go or suspended the life sentence of ex-BJP MLA Kuldeep Singh Sengar, accused in the Unnao rape case of 2017. We'll try to understand what's up with that case. How come High Court come to a conclusion that the life sentence can be suspended of Kuldeep Sengar, and on what conditions he gets bail if he comes out. All that and more. Let's begin with the headlines. Delhi High Court suspends life sentence of ex-BJP MLA Kuldeep Singh Sengar in Unnao rape case. Protest outside Bangladesh High Commission over Deepu Das's lynching, barricades toppled. In Bengal, police cracks down on protesters. People seen bleeding. Republic Bangla tracks the complete story as movement for nationwide Hindu mobilization grows. Aravali campaign raises a massive storm, becomes the nation's #1 subject. Republic exposes illegal mining in Haryana and Rajasthan. Despite geopolitical tensions following Operation Sindoor, Indigo continues to rely on wet leased aircraft from Turkish carriers. All right, friends, the Delhi High Court has granted bail to former Bharatiya Janata Party legislator Kuldeep Singh Sengar in the 2017 Unnao rape case. The High Court ordered earlier in the day that Sengar should not come within 5 kilometers radius of the victim and remain in Delhi during the duration of his bail. He has been asked to report to the nearest police station every month during the bail period. Let's try to understand what these bail conditions mean. Does he really does not remain a threat to the victim and the victim family? Given the fact that he's out, he would be having access to all communication. Unnao rape case, remember it happened in 2017. The Delhi High Court has granted bail to Sengar. We'll try to understand what happens on the ground. We have understood the legal aspect of this development, and there are certain grounds on which the Delhi High Court has granted this bail. Even though the order is suspended pending appeal, and he's going to be, Sengar continues to be in jail as the sentence in another case is there, in which he's serving a 10-year sentence. But in the rape case, he was slapped a life sentence. And for some reasons, the High Court has gone ahead and said that maybe he can be granted bail. Raghavendra joins us live from Lucknow, and Unnao is close by. राघवेंद्र, क्या आपको कोई प्रतिक्रिया मिली है इस हाईकोर्ट के फैसले के बारे में? कुलदीप सिंह सेंगर को बेल मिली है, अभी वो तुरंत तो बाहर नहीं आएंगे, पर क्या ये जो विक्टिम परिवार है, विक्टिम है, उनको कोई डर है? आपको कोई जानकारी मिली है?
बिल्कुल, देखिए ये डर का ही मामला था, जबकि ये केस पूरा उत्तर प्रदेश का था, लेकिन जो ये पूरा मामला कोर्ट का था वो दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट ट्रांसफ़र हुआ था, क्योंकि पीड़िता ने ये कहा था कि हमको यहाँ पर जस्टिस नहीं मिलेगा, न्याय नहीं मिलेगा, हमको यहाँ पर खतरा है, इसलिए इस मामले को दिल्ली ट्रांसफ़र किया जाए। तो दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट में मामला चल रहा था। उम्र कैद की सज़ा हुई थी कुलदीप सिंह सेंगर पर। वर्तमान में वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के विधायक थे। हालांकि वो कई और दलों में रह चुके हैं। कुलदीप सिंह सेंगर 3 से 4 बार वो विधायक रहे हैं और लगातार अलग अलग दलों से रहे हैं। तो लास्ट टाइम में भारतीय जनता पार्टी को विधायक थे और उनके ऊपर इस तरह का जो आरोप लगा था, उसमें एक लंबी लड़ाई हुई थी। पूरे देश ने इस मामले को देखा था। उन्नाव रेप पीड़िता का जो मामला था, लगातार वो सुर्खियों में रहा है। भारी पुलिस बल वहां तैनात थी, स्पेशल यहां पर जांच हुई थी और उम्र कैद की सजा भी हुई थी। लेकिन जिस तरह से ये मामला चलता रहा और दिल्ली हाईकोर्ट ने इस पूरे मामले को डिसमिस कर दिया है, उम्र कैद की सजा इस मामले में कहीं न कहीं कुलदीप सिंह सेंगर के परिवार को राहत मिली है। लेकिन कहीं न कहीं जो पीड़िता का मामला है, पीड़िता जरूर इस पूरे फैसले से आहत होगी, क्योंकि वो एक लंबी लड़ाई लड़ रही थी। मामला उत्तर प्रदेश से बाहर चला गया था, इलाहाबाद लखनऊ हाईकोर्ट से बाहर चला गया था। लेकिन अब देखने वाली बात है कि
हाईकोर्ट ने कंडीशन रखी है कि आप दिल्ली नहीं छोड़ेंगे और जो विक्टिम है उसका परिवार है उसके 5 किलोमीटर के रेडियस में नहीं जाएंगे। पर आजकल के ज़माने में जब अगर कुलदीप सेंगर बाहर है और राजनेता रहा है और दबदबे का व्यक्ति है, तो क्या उन्नाव के उसके लोग वहां नहीं जाके मिलेंगे? क्या वो धमकी नहीं देंगे? ये सब संभावनाएं तो हो जाती हैं।
बिल्कुल, देखिए ये संभावनाएं तो बची ही हैं और आप अक्सर देखे हैं कि केस जब इस तरह का होता है, कोई रसूखदार रहता है, कोई आम आदमी रहता है, तो कहीं न कहीं ये दबाव रहता है कि हम जो लोग गवाह हैं, गवाह को प्रभावित किया जाता है, पीड़िता के ऊपर भी कहीं न कहीं प्रभाव बनाया जाता है, दबाव बनाया जाता है। तो ये सब सारी संभावनाएँ रहती हैं। लेकिन कहीं न कहीं कानून पर सब विश्वास करते हैं, कानून पर न्याय करते हैं। कानून के ही द्वारा कुलदीप सिंह सेंगर को उम्र कैद की सज़ा मिली थी और कई और मामलों में भी कुलदीप सिंह सेंगर पर मामला चल रहा है। रहा है। तो ऐसे में इस वाले मामले में जिसमें उम्र कैद था उनको राहत मिली है, लेकिन वो भी जेल से बाहर नहीं निकलने वाले हैं, चूंकि और भी कई मामले लंबित हैं जिसका मामला चल रहा है। लेकिन ये जो मामला था दिल्ली हाईकोर्ट जो स्पेशल गया था, जहां पर दिल्ली हाईकोर्ट में सुनवाई चल रही थी, उसमें कहीं ना कहीं इनको राहत जरूर मिली है।
ये राहत की बात नहीं है, ये क्या ये मिसकैरेज ऑफ जस्टिस है, हमें वो समझना पड़ेगा कि पूरा जब ये ऑर्डर आएगा हाई कोर्ट का तो हमें समझना होगा कि किस बिना पे इन्होंने इस तरह से कुलदीप सेंगर को जाने दिया। क्योंकि जो कुलदीप सेंगर के वकील हैं राघवेंद्र, उन्होंने जो बात कही है वो हम विश्वास करें ऐसी नहीं है। उन्होंने तो सीधा सीधा लांछन लगाया है जो प्रोसिक्यूट्रिक्स जो विक्टिम है उसके बारे में। तो ऐसे में इस तरह से बाहर आना और सेंटेंस को सस्पेंड कर देना, are there going to be consequences in terms of safety of the victim is something we have to think, and that's why it's going to be our prime time focus at 8 p.m. The bail granted by the Delhi High Court to former BJP MLA Kuldeep Sengar.
তাদের লিখিত বিবৃতি এবং বিভিন্ন সংবাদ মাধ্যম ইলেকট্রনিক্স মিডিয়া পোর্টালকে দিয়ে তাদের স্পিচগুলো শুনছিলাম, তাতে মনে হয়েছে মমতা বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায় হিন্দুদের এই তীব্র প্রতিবাদ এবং ক্ষোভে তিনি আতঙ্কিত এবং তিনি
because she is worried and she is scared of Hindu consolidation. That is why she is trying to crack down on the Hindu protesters.
দেখাতে বলতে বাধ্য হয়েছে, তাতে তারা বলেছে যে এই ঘটনার সঙ্গে অরবিন্দ দাস চন্দন দাসের মৃত্যুকে লিঙ্ক করা হচ্ছে।
So the West Bengal police also gave out a statement that how Dipu Das murder in Bangladesh has been connected with Horogobindo Das's murder in West Bengal. So the police was also compelled to say the same.
ব্যক্তি ভিন্ন, আক্রমণকারীরা একই, জায়গা দুটো আলাদা।
The place is different but the attackers are the same.
কার্যত এক।
The process is also same. The process of murder is also same, whether in West Bengal or in Bangladesh.
একদম সেম, শুধু দিনটা আলাদা, সালটা আলাদা।
The whole process in which the murder was committed in Bangladesh, Dipu Das, and in West Bengal, Horogobindo Das and Chandan Das, it is similar. Only the place is different, date is different, and the circumstance is different.
আর ওখানে মিথ্যা অপবাদ দিয়ে প্রমাণ ছাড়া দোষী সাব্যস্ত করে প্রথমে
without any proof, just based on allegations, Dipu Das was killed, beaten, slit his throat, and then he was burnt.
একদম সেম।
And Facebook Live was also.
পুলিশ আরো বলেছে আমরা তো ধুলিয়ান শামসেরগঞ্জের ঘটনায় ব্যবস্থা নিয়েছি, চার্জশিট দিয়েছি।
The police is saying that we have given charge sheet, we have prepared charge sheet in this case.
বাঙালি হিন্দু পুড়িয়ে মারার ঘটনা সম্পৃক্ত করবেন, তাদের বিরুদ্ধে ব্যবস্থা নেব।
The police is saying they will take action if someone tries to connect the murder of Horogobindo Das in West Bengal and the murder of Dipu Das in Bangladesh. West Bengal police is saying so.
বর্ধমান রাস্তায় বেরিয়ে এসে প্রতিবাদে ভয় পাচ্ছিলেন, তাই আজকে বর্বরচিতভাবে মারা হয়েছে আমরা ভিডিও দেখে।
Today, the Hindu protesters were brutally beaten by Mamata Banerjee's police, and we will identify these police officials.
OBC certificate দিয়ে OBC কোটায়,
and we doubt that a large section of these police officers and police personnel are actually TMC workers. they got job by producing fake certificates, but they're actually TMC workers. The way in which Hindus were targeted and beaten up. The way how Lal Baba Maharaj was beaten and other saffron-clad sannyasi saints were beaten up. Some had Rudraksh, some had Jata, some had shaven head. They were beaten up brutally. It's very clear after this that this stick was not only used for upkeeping law and order, but there was some other objective in this incident. There were other objectives, hidden agendas. That is why they had beaten the Hindus so brutally today. The Hindus and Sanatani organizations will march towards the Bangladesh borders in West Bengal, and they will create a blockade in the border areas. On 26th, with huge number of Hindus,
as a leader of opposition,
we have sent a third letter to Deputy High Commissioner of Bangladesh to meet, but he is not meeting. If we don't get response, I will go there to meet him. On 26th, I call upon all the Hindus to come with me, and I will try to move alone if I am allowed, and I'll go inside and meet the Deputy High Commissioner of Bangladesh. And I will meet the Deputy High Commissioner and tell him about the incident. This land is of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Swami Vivekananda, Swami Pranavananda, Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee's land, this West Bengal. This West Bengal is Bengali Hindus' homeland. We won't let the jihadis function here. We will ensure that in a democratic way we will increase the intensity of this protest. 25th we have Tulsi Pujan Divas. 25th we won't do any activity. Tomorrow we will do protests in local areas, and on 26th we will march towards the borders. The way Mamata Banerjee said, she will shake up the whole country, we will shake up Bangladesh. Humayun Kabir or Mamata Banerjee won't protest about these incidents. They have the same agendas, Humayun Kabir and Mamata Banerjee. Muslims have now turned against TMC. And Humayun Kabir is just ensuring that the Muslims who are moving away from Mamata Banerjee are voting for Humayun Kabir. So the Muslims who have turned against Mamata Banerjee will now vote for Humayun Kabir, but Humayun Kabir is working for Mamata Banerjee.
মুসলিমদের একটা বড় অংশ ওয়াকফ অ্যামেন্ডমেন্ট বিল নিয়ে মমতা ব্যানার্জি যেদিন বলেছেন দিল্লিতে গিয়ে আন্দোলন করুন সেই দিন থেকে বিরোধী এবং মুসলিমরা
big section of the Muslims have turned against Mamata Banerjee because of waqf.
লোকসভাপতি দেখি তারা হয়তো ব্যাপক সংখ্যায় ভারতীয় জনতা পার্টিকে সমর্থন করেন না।
Maybe the Muslims won't support BJP in a huge number, but they are turning against Mamata Banerjee.
যে তারা কংগ্রেস সিপিএম কে ভোট দিলে তৃণমূল কংগ্রেস হারবে, বিজেপিকেও আটকে দেওয়া যাবে। একইভাবে দক্ষিণ মালদায় তারা সুচিন্তিতভাবে ভোট দিয়েছেন কংগ্রেসকে, ঈশা খান চৌধুরীকে। তৃণমূলকে রুখে দিবেন বিজেপি।
The Muslims used to vote for Congress and then they started voting for TMC, but they were voting against BJP.
দেখছেন আমাদের কোনো কর্মসূচি করতে গেলে, কোথাও পুজো করতে গেলে, এই মন্দির বাজারে কয়েকদিন আগে
program that we are trying to do, whether it is a puja, we have to take permission from the High Court.
বাবরের নামে তিনি আরবি সংস্কৃতির লোক।
But in the same time, at the same time, a mosque is being constructed in the name of Babar, who was a murderer who destroyed the Hindus of that time. But the state government is actually helping in that process of establishing Babri Mosque.
সভা করতে দেওয়া হলো না, মিছিল করার অনুমতি হাইকোর্টে। কালকে আমার সাগরে কার্যক্রম হয়েছে।
They are not allowing the opposition leader to have a rally. The High Court is also saying that if every day BJP has to approach the High Court and they have to allow us, it becomes a tedious process. It is very clear that yesterday a new political party was created. I call them Jamaat, JUP. They call themselves Janata Unnayan Party. I call them Jamaat Unnayan Party. In that particular meeting, did they at all take permission from the authorities to make such a big gathering? It's very clear they are working on the same agenda. And Humayun Kabir would also not speak for Dipu Dash, and also Mamata Banerjee won't speak for Dipu Dash because Dipu Dash is Bengali Hindu.
টিকিট চাইছে অনেকদিন ধরে বুঝছি। সব বল বন্ধ হয়ে যাবে। পশ্চিমবাংলার লোক যদি জঙ্গি মুক্ত বাংলা চায়,
all of
বিজেপিকে আনুন।
If West Bengal wants a terrorist-free Bengal, BJP should be elected in the government.
বিজেপিকে আনুন।
Wearing
জঙ্গি মুক্ত করতে হবে।
white pajama and Punjabi, they are just doing politics and bringing terrorists. But if BJP is elected, all that will stop.
They are translating the press conference by Bengal BJP Shubhendu Adhikari there, and essentially taking on the Mamata government for not taking a clear position on the mob lynching of Dipu Das in Bangladesh, and in fact harboring elements which represent the ideology which has killed Dipu Das in Dhaka. Kishalai continues to be live with us over the phone actually on this. Kishalai, Kishalai live in fact. Kishalai, essentially what I understood was from your translation that there is a Bengal fallout of the developments in Bangladesh, and the BJP believes that the same radical ideology that killed Dipu Das in Bangladesh is essentially being harbored by the Mamata government in Bengal.
Well, exactly. The BJP is saying that it is a proven fact today. Why? Because while the Hindus were protesting against the brutal killing of Dipu Das in Bangladesh, the police openly lathi charged, cracked down on the Hindu Sanatanis, and they cracked down in a way that the Sanatanis, the sadhus, started bleeding from their face, from their head. It was such a brutal crackdown on Hindu Sanatanis who were in fact peacefully protesting in front of the Bangladesh Deputy High Commission demanding for answer, demanding for justice. Shubhendu Adhikari was saying a while back that this proves that the same jihadi mindset is harbored in West Bengal as well, as you rightly put.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what has triggered this BJP press conference is the fact that the Mamata government's police came down heavily on protesters who were out on the streets and wanting to send a message to Bangladesh that Hindus will not take this lying down, the manner in which Dipu Das was targeted for just representing his religion, and with details emerging that there is no evidence whatsoever of any blasphemous words or deeds committed by Dipu Das, and he was killed perhaps because of professional rivalry in the job and lynched by a mob in the name of blasphemy. All right, we keep close track of that. In fact, that's our 9 p.m. prime time debate. The Hindu mobilization and the anger spreading across the country at the manner in which the Yunus regime is harboring these radical elements and anti-India forces. Moving on, it's a rare and direct conversation which is at the heart of one of India's most consequential verdicts. Justice B.R. Gavai, the former Chief Justice of India, who authored the Aravali judgment, joined Republic Editor-in-Chief Arnab Goswami on the debate last night, facing straight questions on a ruling that has triggered a nationwide debate. In this interview, Arnab questions the timing of the verdict, quotes directly from the judgment, and confronts the concerns raised on the debate, asking why long-standing safeguards appear to be set aside. It's a no-holds-barred interview. The judgment, the questions, the answers, straight from the judge who wrote it. Watch this.
Sir, I would request you, Justice Gavai, there is a precautionary principle in law. The precautionary principle applies in this case, doesn't it? The precautionary principle in environmental cases means taking preventive action to protect the environment from serious or irreversible harm, even when there is no scientific evidence which is not fully conclusive. This means, as per precedent of the law, the onus is on precaution and safety. Why didn't you apply? I would like to ask you, you have been the Chief Justice of India. The nation wants to know from you, you've been Chief Justice of India in this case, why did you not apply the precautionary principle in this case? There have been innumerable precedents of precautionary principles being applied by the honorable courts on matters of environment. I don't find those quoted in your judgment. May I ask you why?
If you read the operative part, it is very much clear that unless the MSCP is finalized by the IFTRI and finalized by the MOEF, no further mining licenses would be granted.
Justice Gavai, Vellore Citizens Welfare Forum versus Union of India, 1996. The Supreme Court declared the precautionary principle a legally enforceable principle crucial for sustainable development and shifted the onus of proof onto polluters. MC Mehta versus Union of India, Taj Trapezium case, 1986. The Supreme Court used the precautionary principle to stop industries from burning coal near the Taj Mahal, recognizing harm from pollution. I am not an advocate, but I'm asking the former Chief Justice of India, a matter of principle, why did Justice Gavai not apply? Why did the three-judge bench not apply the precautionary principle in this case?
If you kindly go through the operative part, clause 4 and 5 make it very much clear that unless the MSCP is finalized by IFTRI and MOEF, no further mining leases would be granted in all 4 states in the Aravali Hills.
Sir, the precautionary
then I ask you, what is it?
Sir, the precautionary principle means that in matters that are likely to affect the environment, it is not required to prove that the activity will cause harm, but that the activity is prohibited unless it can be established that it is benign. No one is suggesting here that deforesting the Aravalis will... Sir?
What does the prohibition on the new mining licenses amount to?
Okay, sir, then let me ask you the AP Pollution Control Board versus MV Nadu case 1990 to 2000. Landmark Indian Supreme Court judgment that reinforced the precautionary principle, established the right to clean water as a part of the right to life, Article 21, and placed the burden of proof on polluters. All these cases were there for you to look at, sir.
We have looked at the cases, and this is T.N. Godavaram and N.C. Mehta are the continuing mandamus proceedings. They are not as if we have closed the matters.
What do you mean? It's not as if...
continuing.
Sir, I'm asking... So you're saying the matter is not closed?
Matter is not closed. We have directed the MSAP to get the report. The MSAP report will come to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court will find out wherein the mining activities are to be permitted and where they are to be prohibited. It is not as if that the matter is closed.
Sir, but you've not looked at other cases which were in the public domain. There is a May report by the government. It's titled Detailed Action Plan Aravali Landscape Restoration, in brackets Aravali Green Wall. The irony is this report was published by the Ministry of Environment and Forests. It's not even an old report. It was published in May 25, just 8 months before the Supreme Court redefined the Aravalis. It involved the Forest Survey of India, state forest departments of Delhi, Gujarat, Haryana, Rajasthan, along with German Cooperation for International Cooperation. Now, this report was in the public domain and the nation wants to know from you, Justice Gavai, as the former Chief Justice of India, would you see it the other way, that this report had very much established the threat to the Aravalis? 8 months before your judgment, your new definition allows for leeway by the mining players to exploit an already depleting resource.
Mr. Arnab Goswami, it is firstly not the definition provided by the court. It is the report of the committee of the experts. The court found that the report was liable to be accepted subject to the further requirement regarding, I am again repeating we are again going to the...
So you don't completely agree with the government's version, which the government says we are only going by what the Supreme Court says. You are saying you're only going by what the government told.
We are going by what the report of the experts, of which the FS was also a party. We only accepted that, and in addition to acceptance, we imposed certain stringent conditions which would protect the mining activities. Unless the MSAP is finalized, no further mining will be permitted.
Sir, you've seen the report. Sir, you've seen the report.
If you kindly go through paragraph 4 and paragraph 5 of the operative order, it is more than clear.
Sir, you have seen the affidavit out here, sir, of the government which was filed in this case, because I've gone through it in detail. It's 2000. You say I have not seen the reports, but I have read every word of the 2,334-page additional affidavit filed by the Ministry of Environment. Sir, I am very detailed in my work. Sir, the fact of the matter is the government is trying to institutionalize mining as a core objective, not as an exception, by formally designing a framework whose purpose is to enable exploitation, mining inside the Aravalis.
No, but then we have not accepted that. We have specifically stated that unless and until MSAP, the Management of Sustainable Development Plan, is finalized, no further mining leases.
Sir, may I ask you a question, sir? You also said, sir, now that there is considerable public outrage on this matter, and by informed people, not uninformed people, do you believe that if necessary, this matter should be looked at again, reviewed, discussed?
I have always stated that the law has to be static, law has to be developing, law has to be organic.
Yes.
We have, on various occasions, wherever we have found that earlier orders are not correct, the courts have always corrected them.
So
therefore, I was not inclined to speak to you because the matter may come in review, and normally the author of the judgment should not speak about the judgment. But since you insisted that this is an important issue pertaining to environment,
yes.
So if the subsequent benches find that something more to be done, it is always permissible. So the TNF Godavarnam is a continuous mandamus process.
So it can come up for review. I mean, your view is given. I'm sure you've kept track of the public discussion on this matter, sir, over the last few days, and the amount of attention it has got.
If the court subsequently finds that something more needs to be done, something needs to be corrected, the courts can always do it.
And the government should be open to review as well, given all the expert opinion, others, it can be put through review again, this decision, this definition, in public interest?
So I can't comment on what the subsequent, because I am now I can't be a part of the bench now, I am out of the system. Wherever the matter is brought before the bench will always take into consideration all the aspects.
We focus on the 6 stories that have set the national agenda. The Aravali campaign has resonated, and Republic cameras have now reached the illegal mining sites in Haryana and Rajasthan, and we'll get you what our cameras have captured. The other top story is from Unnao, where an ex-BJP MLA has been given bail in a rape case. This is a very controversial order that has been given by the High Court, and we'll get you all the details on that along with 4 more stories that have set the national agenda for today. Tonight at 6 p.m. with me, Tanisha Awasthi.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
Please stop! झुमका, तेरा झुमका, तेरा झुमका। Not there. मेरा काउंटर टॉप टूट जाएगा। तेरा झुमका। मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा। सबका राजा प्योर मसाला।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ।
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
We are willing
It's 5 p.m. and you're watching Live and Breaking with me, Isha Vincent. Our top focus. Reports coming in from Haryana as well as Rajasthan, where there's been rampant mining that has taken place. The argument that was made by the Supreme Court was that this order would have prevented from further mining to take place. It seems on the ground, it's a complete different story. We'll get you all the latest, but first let me take you through the headlines we're tracking at this hour. Hindu mobilization across India. Thousands come out in protest against attacks in Bangladesh on the Hindu community under Yunus regime. Protests in multiple cities include Delhi, Kolkata, Jammu over attacks in Hindus in Bangladesh. Hindu groups say sent all infiltrators back. Hindu protesters lathi charged in Kolkata claim they are being targeted for speaking out against Bangladesh under Mamata's rule. Sentence suspended pending appeal for rape convict Kuldeep Sengar. He was granted life sentence in 2019 but now granted bail on 15 lakh rupees bail bond. Controversial order on Sengar question. Nirbhaya's mother says it could set a wrong precedent. It's the interview of the year on popular demand. Order versus former CGI. Gavai interview on Aravali at 8:30 tonight. The Save Aravali movement has now become nation's #1 talking point. Republic TV's campaign, wherein we question the Supreme Court order and the government's defense, has ignited a nationwide debate. We compelled the Environment Minister to respond yesterday, where he said that the government's new uniform definition for the range strengthens environmental safeguards rather than opening them up to the mining mafia. Not just that, a 2,334-page affidavit mentioning that the government battled for mining of critical, strategic and atomic minerals at the Aravali Hills range has now been accessed by Republic TV. We've meanwhile been investigating on the ground, putting into perspective how this illegal mining at the Aravalis is eating into the natural ecosystem. Now take a look at these reports coming in from various parts of Haryana as well as Rajasthan. First, this report is from Sengar in Rajasthan.
Viewers, Republic is here at Sawalpura, Taranpur in Sikra, Rajasthan, and we are showing you yet another illegal mining which is going on here. We're going to show you, see, that is where you can see where mining is going on, and we'll also show you and we'll also tell you why what they're doing is illegal. Right there in the mining site, you can see there's water here. Water has come up. According to the rules, whenever water appears during mining, that site needs to be abandoned and no mining shall continue in that site. Right next to it, you can see the mining is still going on. And just, we'll also show you the locality. The minimum distance which is required between an active mining site and residences, it is also not fulfilled. You can see there's a home right there on my right side. There's also several homes just within a few meters of that house. You can see this is the mining site which is active. We'll also show you several other reasons. Now, as per the rules, there is this state highway which is going on. So, a minimum distance of 300 meters, and in certain critical areas 150 meters is required between the state highway or road and any mining site. But we'll show you, this is the state highway road which goes from Ajitpura to Asanpur, Ajitpura to Asanpur state highway road. On that end, that is where you can see the car. The car is on that state highway road, and it's not even 50 meters away. There's not one mine, there are two mines here. Not even 50 meters away from this. As you can see, that is the road where you can spot that white car. From here, we'll show you just on the other end, merely 50 meters, not even 50 meters away. That is the mine site where we just showed you mining was actively going on. And also, this is a dry state where we are standing here. This is a dry state. And there are two water pumps here which continuously pump out the water which comes up in this area. Let us show you that as well. So this is the mining site where even right now the mining is continuing, and they have this water tank, and there are two water pumps which continuously pumps out the water which is not allowed to be pumped out in a dry state where already the water level is very low. We are also going to show you a little bit around. So you've seen that there are several things which is illegal about this entire illegal mining, and this predates the new accepted definition of Aravali, and we are showing you live on Republic's camera how this mining, which you can see on the camera right now, this is illegal in not just one or two ways but in multiple ways. We're also showing you the location. We'll also show you the road that I was talking about, that state highway. On the far end, you can see, we'll show you, it's what, 60 meters, not even 60 meters, where you can see bikes going on, you can see the car going on. That is the state highway. And you can estimate the distance between this mining site and the road. You can still see there's constant coming and going of vehicles. We'll keep bringing you the ground updates of the Aravali Hills, how the lungs of the Delhi NCR is being exploited, and after this recent decision, things are not looking better.
Let me go across to my colleague Shambhavi, who is joining us right now. Shambhavi, from the reports that you have filed so far, it seems that there are certain permissions that have been granted based on which the mining has begun, but it seems that they too have been flouted. Is there any follow-up that you have essentially done from those very places? And also perhaps you could tell us where you are coming to us live from and what's the situation like?
Well, Well, yes, definitely in all the sites that we have been at, one thing has been common, that definitely they have a basic lease. They have one or the other lease which is of one particular material, and then under the garb of that one lease there are several illegal activities going on. So the very basis of it is legal. The acquirement of that lease under some material is legal, but then this is a very common practice that we have seen all throughout the mining sites, all throughout the villages that we have been at. And since our follow-up, one thing that we know as an update is that this has stopped for now at least. There's been more than 24 hours, and that every place that we have been at, the mining is on a hold. There has been no activity in each and every location that we have been, whether it is Kotputli, whether it is Alwar, or even the Sengar in Rajasthan. There has been no activity since Republic has reported from that place. But we know that this is a very common practice that we have seen all throughout these sites. When these companies, they choose a cheaper material that is more cost-friendly for them in terms of mining, and then they begin to mine several other material along with that. So this is basically, they're paying for one product, but they're getting 4 in return or 5 in return. And also they make they're making huge amount of money in the form of taxes, because let's just say that on one material a company is making is paying around 1,500 at tax. But in the truck there are several other materials which would have costed them more money. So even as per our calculation, most of these companies are making more than 2.5 lakhs rupees per month and per day. Sorry, I beg your pardon, 2.5 lakhs per day. So that is the estimate that we have come to understand. So these are the things which we've seen very common, and we have also been to several other places. But apparently, after Republic's campaign of Save Aravali, these companies have become a little alert, and we were not able to till now see any active mining sites after these sites, but we are still in the
Shambhavi, I'll just request you to stay on with us. We seem to be having another big breaking news coming in terms of the order that was essentially passed by the Supreme Court. But before that, before we go across to the breaking news now coming in, I just want to take you through another report coming in from Haryana. This is in Gudana. In fact, this was a protected area in which mining has been carried out, blasting that has been carried out through the day. Take a look at this report.
All this mining activity is illegal and has been stopped. However, the villagers have been trying to protect their agricultural land, and they have been trying to protect their grazing fields. To the left of me is a 200 feet deep mine with multiple excavators and drilling machines. Multiple excavators and drilling machines on standby. Villagers here have informed us that all the mining activity happens at night. They are using blastings, they are using dynamite, and no safety equipment is being used. The children here are falling ill due to the thick smog that covers the village. Wells have run dry because of the
massive Republic impact coming in. Sources indicating that a review petition is likely to be filed in Aravali judgment in the Supreme Court of India. This is with regards to the definition of the landform itself. A lot of questions have essentially been raised about the judgment that was passed in the month of November. In fact, former Chief Justice of India, Justice Gavai, in a rare and direct conversation with Arnab Goswami, had said that it is open to interpretation, and the fact that it could also be reviewed, and the fact that this is not static, it's dynamic, and things could be reviewed if at all there is a need for it. In fact, it turns out that in all likelihood the review petition is going to be filed in the Supreme Court of India. That's the latest coming in. This is the big development on the Aravali review matter that's going to take place. We are being told, sources are indicating that several groups are now basically coming together. They have already raised questions about the judgment that was passed, where they've raised concerns about the judgment of the Supreme Court of India. The author of it happens to be the former Chief Justice of India, stating that following the revision of the definition of Aravali, large part of the landforms aren't really protected because of the definition that has been reviewed by the Supreme Court of India. In fact, the former Chief Justice of India, Justice Gavai, essentially defended his entire position on this matter, particularly with regards to the slope definition of the Aravali, saying that this was done keeping in mind the recommendations that have essentially come in from a committee that was set up by the Environment Ministry, and this was done to prevent further mining to be carried out in the areas in the Aravali ranges, saying that 90%. Now, the Environment Minister had said 90% of the Aravalis would be protected. Let me also go across to our legal editor, Rhythm, who's joining us on this broadcast. A massive Republic impact coming in, an indication that we've had through the day, Rhythm, about a review petition likely to be filed in the Supreme Court of India. What more do you have?
Well, that's right. We have been seeing that this entire case of the Aravali needs to be protected, Shravan. And we have been looking at what this 100-meter ruling means. Yesterday, we were the only channel to have the former Chief Justice of India, Justice Gavai, who explained in great detail what his 29-page judgment was. A political and environmental storm has been created after the new definition to the Aravali ranges and our Aravali hills has come out. We're now being told, sources tell us, it's likely that once the Supreme Court reopens, there will be a review petition that's likely to be filed in the top court of the country on the 20th November judgment of the Supreme Court of India. This is a judgment that has, in a sense, changed the definition of what comprises the Aravali. On the basis of this, there will be a review. The environmentalists on the channel speak about the 100-meter rule. The Supreme Court had said they want to establish a uniform definition for Aravali hills and ranges. It was aimed, according to the former Chief Justice, to regulate mining activities. However, several people who've been looking at the Supreme Court ruling have stated that the Supreme Court ruling, in a sense, has backfired. It has triggered protests across the 4 states in which they will be coming across. And the main reason for this is because it is weakening the environment. It is not strengthening the environment. There have been protests and political criticism over the so-called 100-meter rule and the landforms that are covered under the new definition. The review petition likely to be filed in January in the top court.
Rhythm, there has been a major debate on the definition itself, but the former Chief Justice of India, Justice Gavai, defended by stating that this was also based on a committee that was formed by the Environment Ministry, and this was essentially done to protect the Aravali ranges. 90% of it would have been protected is what they said, and also more importantly that mining activities would have essentially reduced. What is it that you're picking up from the groups that are likely to move the court for a review petition on this?
They are against the new definition that has been given. There are several reasons that are there and why the Aravali needs to be protected. The one reason for this definition that is not being looked at is that the mining risks are there and the violations will continue. The second thing that has been said by the people who are flagging the environmental concerns is simple. They're saying that mining will not only continue, but even this new committee has not looked at, has overlooked the 2012 FSI definition that was to be followed. In fact, in paragraph 27, 28 and 30 of the 29-page judgment, the amicus curiae, who is a friend of the court, Mr. K. Parmeshwar, senior advocate, had said that the judgment should also have taken into view the FSI's view, otherwise there would be environmental concerns. But that view, according to these people going to be filing the review, has been overlooked by the top court.
You're saying that, this entire aspect of the amicus curiae particularly coming into this picture, weighing into what was essentially seen as perhaps redefining the Aravali ranges itself. Now, some argument that has been made by the Environment Ministry with regards to mining, saying that mining actually was happening at a much larger scale in the past. With this new definition, they would have been able to protect large tracts, large landforms, part of the Aravali ranges. What is it that you are getting to know from those who are arguing that that's not the case?
Niranjan, I beg your pardon. Shravan, in fact, I was earlier speaking to my colleague, so that's why the slip of tongue. But coming back to this case, there has been a complete protest because this definition, the new definition, it says only those over 100 meters above local terrain qualify as protected. Therefore, anything below that 100 meters is not protected. Therefore, there is an increased risk of mining, of desertification, groundwater loss in Rajasthan, Haryana and Delhi. Shravan, you have been getting our colleagues to go and do these reports in all these states, and it's very, very clear that the court did not apply what is called the precautionary principle. There is important to have sustained development, but at what cost? Today it's the Aravali Hills. It's important to remember that these are Aravali Hills that have been there for centuries. Tomorrow it will be opening up the Western Ghats to the Himalayas is the argument that is being given by the environmentalists. They're also very clearly saying that when it came earlier, illegal mining was there. Even today when the environmentalists are coming, even in the protected zones, there is continued mining that's there. So the Supreme Court's acceptance of the centre's definition, which states any hill in the range with an elevation of less than 100 meters are not subject to restrictions against mining, is going to be subject to review. The top court had accepted the recommendation for sustainable mining in the Aravali Hills and steps to be taken for preventing illegal mining. But the fact that sustainable mining has been accepted and the fact that any hills in the range with an elevation of less than 100 meters is not subject to strictures against mining had been accepted is what has been the basic crux of the arguments of the environmentalists, and that's why this review is going to be filed, where they say the Aravali range, which is under serious threat after the Supreme Court ruling that limits its definition to hills rising 100 meters above the local terrain, potentially stripping protection from nearly 90% of the Aravalis across Delhi, NCR, Rajasthan, Haryana, leaves them exposed to mining, deforestation, and also excavation.
Rhythm, just one final question before I let you go, because this is a massive development just taking place just a day after Editor-in-Chief Arnab Goswami had a rare direct conversation with the former Chief Justice of India, the author of this entire judgment. Now, following which, within the legal circles also, Rhythm, there has been a growing clamour, and that essentially being of the fact that whether at all this was done in a tearing hurry to begin with. What's the sense that you've got, because you've been speaking to a cross-section of people over the last few days, particularly those who have been part of multiple petitions that have been filed in the court. Former Chief Justice says that this has been done over a period of time, and the fact that multiple hearings have actually taken place.
Well, there have been protests, but the government needed to clarify if the judgment was really in the best interest of the people and was it against mining. This is a billion years old ancient Aravali mountain range, Shravan. Nature could not swallow this in thousands of years. We should be preventing Delhi, Rajasthan, Western India from turning into a desert. In this rare and viral former Chief Justice of India's interview to Arnab, it was very clear when he stated that this Aravali redefinition judgment could possibly be reviewed. In fact, he had also given a hint that there could be a possible review of this judgment, and the basic reason is because the Aravali revival and groundwater recharge has to be prioritized. There needs to be a priority and precautionary principle followed when it comes to court-mandated safeguards, and scientific monitoring needs to be there. Aravalis need to be protected and strengthened and secured.
Well, thank you very much, Rhythm, for putting this into perspective. Now, it all happened after this rare and direct conversation, which is actually at the heart of one of India's most consequential verdicts. Justice B.R. Gavai, the former Chief Justice of India who authored the Aravali judgment, joined Republic Editor-in-Chief Arnab Goswami in the debate last night, facing some straight questions on a ruling that has triggered a national debate. In this interview, Arnab questions the timing of the verdict, quotes directly from the judgment and confronts the concerns raised in the debate, asking why long-standing safeguards appeared to be set aside. It's a no-holds-barred interview. The judgment, the questions and the answers straight from the judge who wrote it. And perhaps you would also get an idea as to why many are now raising concerns and perhaps pushing for a review petition.
Sir, is the Supreme Court adjudicating mineral potential or environmental protection?
It is considering environment protection, and if you go through the various orders which preceded this order is not passed in a day. It is passed for an exercise which was undertaken for last more than 1.5 years, insofar as Aravali is concerned.
So the government is portraying this as a Supreme Court mandated environment protection, as an economic loss, building a grievance narrative to reopen mining on revenue. My point is, sir, you are the author of this report. I have read every word of the report. Of the judgment. I believe there needs to be some balance between the views of the government and the concerns of the citizens.
I have always been advocating the concept of protection of environment, protection of ecology, and the sustainable development. So wherever there is a conflict, a balance has to be given. The environment has to be protected. Ecology has to be protected. I must have authored around 18 to 20 judgments in last 3 years for the protection of environment. And the courts are always, it is always permissible for the court if there is something more to be done, something to be corrected. The courts are always open to it.
Sir, matters are taken suo moto by the courts.
Yes, sir. T.N. Godavarna is a suo moto. MC Mehta is a suo moto. MC Mehta is on a postcard of...
but this was a suo moto as well.
This was not a suo moto. If you go through it, the concerns were raised by the various states that there is no consistency insofar as the definition of Aravali hills and ranges is concerned. And therefore, in order to bring a common, uniform definition, the court was required to go into all these issues.
So what stops anyone from redefining? Sir, tomorrow somebody will define the Ganges. Tomorrow somebody will redefine the Himalayas. I said the other day with respect that the Supreme Court of India did not create the Himalayas or the Aravalis.
I have already told you it was necessary in order to protect the illegal mining activities which were going on. The various states were saying that it is not in the area doesn't fall in Aravali hills and therefore the mining can go on. In order to avoid all that, we were required to pass those decisions.
So I think that, okay, so here's the point. Now, in this particular case, Justice Gavai, the nation is angry. 80% of the people feel there should be a revisiting of the judgment. What is your view on the need to, on revisiting the judgment? Because the government is taking a very stern, inflexible position. You're the author of the judgment.
I can't make any comment on that because any comment by me may be prejudging the issue because I am out of the system. I don't want to make any statement which may have a direct, indirect effect on the proceedings that may arise in the court. And that is why I was reluctant to speak because the judges before whom if the review is filed are always entitled to take a relook at the matter and take appropriate action. I can't make any comment.
Well, I'll appreciate your coming on air tonight because I got a chance to put some straight questions. I hope you will also say, sir, today that after this interview, you would not say that I have not read the judgment, and I hope you find the merit in the questions that I have phrased before you. Because I believe Justice Gavai that the judiciary is important, the media is also important. It's important for us to get the opportunity for this interaction.
I have due respect for the media, but I again say that you have not read the judgment completely. If you had read the judgment, the first 2 or 3 paragraphs, you would have come to know as to why this entire exercise was necessary.
Sir, I again tell you, I have read every word of the judgment from the first to the last page.
I'm sorry.
And I have not just read this judgment, I have read previous judgments on the matter, and I politely disagree with your interpretation to it. I hope you feel that I have a right to do
we are
that.
not here to convince each other. We are not here to convince each other.
No, I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just taking
I
your
still
view.
hold that had you read the judgment, you would know as to why the requirement for having the definition was required.
Sir, I have read the judgment entirely. Otherwise, how could I quote para, chapter and verse to you right now on the judgment?
Then if you have read the judgment, it is the learned amicus who requested the court to take steps to define the judgment, define the definition of Aravali Hills and Aravali Ranges.
Well, I mean, everybody is shooting off the other shoulder, sir.
So anyway, thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Justice Gavai, and thank you for coming on Republic. Thank you.
On This Is Exclusive, 7 p.m. this evening, we're getting you reports from Gujarat, Haryana and Rajasthan on the Aravali mining. They tell you that everything is as per book, but we show you how Supreme Court guidelines are being violated. It's on camera tonight at 7 p.m.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल बनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा,
सबका राजा आरती और मसाला।
We just now felt this entire
Hindu mobilization across India. Thousands come out in protest against attacks in Bangladesh on the Hindu community under Yunus regime. Protests in multiple cities including Delhi, Kolkata, Jammu over attacks on Hindus in Bangladesh. Hindu groups say send all infiltrators back. Hindu protesters lathi-charged in Kolkata claim they are being targeted for speaking out against Bangladesh under Mamata's rule. Life sentence suspended pending appeal for rape convict Kuldeep Singh Sengar was granted life sentence in 2019 but now granted bail on a 15 lakh bond. Controversial order on Sengar questioned. Nirbhaya's mother says it could set a wrong precedent. It's the interview of the year on popular demand. Arnab versus former CJI Justice Gavai interview on Aravali at 8:30 p.m. tonight. Good evening. You're watching Republic and I'm Nakshita Mishra with you. From New Delhi to Bhopal to Kolkata and Jammu, the anger is spilling on the streets against atrocities on Hindus in Bangladesh. Major protests have broken out outside the Bangladesh High Commission as thousands of Hindus and protest groups gathered against the mob lynching of Tipu Chandra Das by radicals in Bangladesh for less blasphemous comments. And the anger is palpable on the streets from Kolkata to New Delhi. In fact, the protesters were lathi charged by Mamata police in Kolkata, as you can see on the left side of your screens. It's nationwide Hindu mobilization, and we see that from seers to saints to the Hindu groups, youngsters, all are lathi charged for raising their voice against the persecution, against the killing of Hindus under Yunus's regime in Bangladesh, viewers.
এই হচ্ছে পরিস্থিতি এই মুহূর্তে। আইপিএস অফিসাররা রয়েছেন, এই মুহূর্তে প্রচুর মানুষজন রয়েছে। আমি আরেকটু দেখানোর চেষ্টা করব। প্রথম লেয়ার ভেঙে ফেলা হয়েছে।
আজ সনাতনী সাধুর গায়ে হাত পড়েছে। আজ সনাতনী সাধুর গায়ে হাত পড়েছে। আমরা রাস্তায় মেরেছে হিন্দুদের এভাবে আটকে রাখা যায় না। হিন্দুদের এভাবে আটকে রাখা যায় না।
হিন্দুদের উপরে অত্যাচার আমাদের পুলিশ ধাক্কাধাক্কি করেছে, আমরা ব্যারিকেড ভেঙে এগোতে।
দেখো আরেকদিকে আমি দেখো আরেকবার দেখাবো। আমি নবীকে বলবো এই মুহূর্তে লাঠি চার্জ করছে পুলিশ, মহিলাদের উপর লাঠি চার্জ করছে এই মুহূর্তে পুলিশ। এবং এই মুহূর্তে টিয়ার গ্যাস ছোড়ার জন্য উদ্যত হয়েছে পুলিশ। এই মুহূর্তে টিয়ার গ্যাস ছোড়ার জন্য উদ্যত হয়েছে পুলিশ। এই মুহূর্তে অবস্থা দেখুন। এই মুহূর্তে চারিদিকে লাঠিচার্জ হচ্ছে এবং এই চারপাশে যেভাবে হিন্দুদেরকে মারা হচ্ছে, এই মুহূর্তে পড়ে গেল। এই মুহূর্তে রক্তারক্তি অবস্থা হয়ে গেছে, রক্তে ভেজে যাচ্ছে হিন্দুদেরকে। এই মুহূর্তে একজন অসুস্থ হয়ে পড়েছে পুলিশের লাঠির ঘায়ে। এই মুহূর্তে মুখ ফেটে গেছে এই মুহূর্তে। আমাদের কাছে গেরুয়া আমি শুধু এইটুকু বলবো, এই মুহূর্তে যে অবস্থা, বেধড়ক লাঠিচার্জ করলো মমতা বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায়ের পুলিশ এবং এই মুহূর্তে প্রচুর এভাবে লাঠির আঘাতে রক্তারক্তি হয়েছে। আমার সারা গা রক্তে ভেসে যাচ্ছে।
From Jammu to Hyderabad, Bhopal, New Delhi, Kolkata, across the length and breadth of the country, Hindus are rising against the targeted killings, merciless, brutal killings of Hindus in Bangladesh. And viewers, the case in point latest is Tipu Chandra Das. But this is not the first time that Hindus have been targeted under Yunus, the interim government led by Muhammad Yunus. We've seen what's happened with ISKCON monk. We've seen how temples have also been attacked in Bangladesh. And now we have Tipu Chandra Das, the merciless killing of Tipu Chandra Das. Kisholai Mukherjee joins us on the phone line from our Bangla. Kisholai, well, these are the scenes from India, where Hindus are rising across the length and breadth of the country. In Kolkata, the way clashes are happening, it seems that Mamata Banerjee has no space, doesn't want to give any space to the Hindus who are only raising voice against the injustices, the killings that are happening in neighboring Bangladesh. Instead, those protesters are also facing bloodied violence.
Well, exactly what happened, what transpired. The Hindus were protesting peacefully in front of the Bangladeshi Deputy High Commission in Kolkata's Begbagan area. Suddenly, there was a huge number of police personnel that was deployed and they started removing these protesters. The protesters did not want to move. They wanted to continue with their peaceful protest. And then there was rampant lathi charge on them. There was a crackdown. In fact, the protesters started bleeding. They were beaten up so brutally by Mamata Banerjee's police officials. They were beaten up, they were dragged, they were put in prison vans, they were arrested. The question is, why does Mamata Banerjee not not want the Hindus to protest against the incidents that are happening in Bangladesh. What is the problem of Mamata Banerjee if Hindus are staging peaceful protests in Kolkata? We saw peaceful protests of Hindus all over the country. Nowhere there was any lathi charge. But in Kolkata, in West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee's regime ensured that the Hindus are bleeding and they are being carried away in stretchers. Some of them were gravely injured and some of them have been put in prison vans. The Hindus, Shubhendu Adhikari has called again for a bigger protest march on 26th of this month, 2 days later. He said he'll be visiting the Bangladeshi Deputy High Commission again, and there'll be a big rally that day as well against the incident of Dipu Chandra Das. We have to see what happens next.
Right. Many thanks, Kishola, for joining us with those details coming in on that story. In fact, we will also move on to the Murshidabad communal violence case. This is also from West Bengal. Sentencing is due today in that communal violence case, and a Jangipur court will decide the punishment for 13 men convicted in the lynching of a father and son during their riots linked to protests over the Waqf law earlier this year.
A district court in Jangipur is set to deliver its verdict today in the Murshidabad communal violence case involving the murder of Har Gobindo Das and his son Chandan Das. On Monday, the court convicted 13 people accused for the killings that took place in Dhulian's Jafrabad area during the communal unrest. The killings occurred on 12th of April when violent protests over the centre's new Waqf law escalated into mob attacks. Eyewitnesses say the father and son resisted the mob twice, but the attackers returned with weapons and killed them in the street. The conviction followed a detailed special investigation team probe and a 983-page charge sheet submitted before the court, describing how the mob broke into the Das residence and dragged the victims out before killing them. The SIT carried out coordinated raids at 9 locations across West Bengal, Odisha and Jharkhand to arrest all 13 assailants. The accused were neighbours of the victims and have been convicted under multiple sections of the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, including murder, robbery, trespass, rioting with deadly weapons, causing hurt and wrongful restraint. All eyes are now on the Jangipur court, where the quantum of punishment will be announced later today.
Stories at 6, we focus on the 6 stories that have set the national agenda. The Aravali campaign has resonated, and Republic cameras have now reached the illegal mining sites in Haryana and Rajasthan, and we'll get you what our cameras have captured. The other top story is from Unnao, where an ex-BJP MLA has been given bail in a rape case. This is a very controversial order that has been given by the High Court, and we'll get you all the details on that, along with 4 more stories that have set the national agenda for today. Tonight at 6 p.m. with me, Tanisha Avasthi.
And another big case that we are tracking for you. The Delhi High Court has granted bail to former BJP legislator Kuldeep Singh Sengar in the 2017 Unnao rape case. Now, High Court ordered Sengar not to come within 5-kilometer radius of the victim and remain in Delhi during the duration of his bail. He's been asked to report to the police every Monday. Case that has Republic TV campaign for stands at a crucial point today, as the man who was convicted, is not just an accused, he was convicted and found guilty, is now essentially facing a reduced sentence. It was a life sentence that has been suspended. And earlier today, we spoke to Nirbhaya's mother, Asha Devi. Take a look at, listen into this conversation.
देखिए, ये तो बिल्कुल उस परिवार के लिए बिल्कुल सही नहीं हुआ, क्योंकि अगर किसी को उम्र कैद की सजा दी गई है और हाई कोर्ट में आके उसको बिल्कुल बेल पे भेज दिया जाए, तो ये तो एक गलत संदेश गया। और उसमें भी इतने पावरफुल आदमी।
बेल की बात नहीं हो रही है, इस पर ये कहा जा रहा है कि लाइफ इम्प्रिजनमेंट जो पहले दिया गया था उसे सस्पेंड किया जाता, जब तक कुलदीप सिंह सेंगार की जो एप्लीकेशन है, जो अपील है, जब तक उसकी सुनवाई हो रही तब तक लाइफ इम्प्रिजनमेंट को हटाया जा रहा है। ये इसीलिए कई लोग सवाल उठा रहे हैं, ये बेल की बात हो ही नहीं रही, ये बेल से कई गुना ज्यादा है।
ऐसा तो बिल्कुल नहीं होना चाहिए। फिर तो और केसों में भी जब तक सुनवाई चलेगी तो सब मुजरिम कहेंगे कि हमारे सजा को हटा दिया जाए। ये तो बिल्कुल गलत संदेश जा रहा है। ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं होना चाहिए, क्योंकि आप थोड़े दिन पहले हम उस परिवार से हमारी दिल्ली में ही मुलाकात हुई थी। वो जो लड़का है वो कह रहा था उसकी खुद की 3 बेटियां हैं, वो सिक्योरिटी में रहते हैं। उनको जो बेटियां हैं छोटी-छोटी, उनको स्कूल नहीं भेज सकते, वो डर के साए में जीते हैं। और अगर ऐसा फैसला आ रहा है कि नहीं तब तक उस सजा को हटाया जाए, फिर सुनवाई किया जाए, तो ये तो बिल्कुल समझ से बाहर है सर। ऐसा होना नहीं चाहिए, खासकर को जब महिलाओं और बच्चियों की सुरक्षा की बात है तो मैं तो इस फैसले से बिल्कुल
आशा जी, क्योंकि
असंतुष्ट
मैं
हूं
ये
कि
सवाल इसलिए कर रहा हूं क्योंकि आपने कई लोगों के लिए आपने एक जस्टिस की लड़ाई की, और एक तरह से आप देखा जाए तो आप एक तरह के सिंबल है, जस्टिस की सिंबल माना जाती है। अब जब ये सवाल उठाया जाता है कि जो पावरफुल है,
सजा हटा के हमारी सुनवाई की जाए, हमारी फांसी की सजा हटा के हमारी सुनवाई किया जाए, तो ये कोई सुनवाई थोड़ी है। ये तो केसों के और विक्टिमों के साथ मजाक है। ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं होना चाहिए।
सवाल वापस यही उठाया जाएगा जिनके पास पावर है। आखिरकार बीजेपी के लेजिस्लेटर रह चुके हैं ये, और साथ ही साथ एक स्ट्रॉन्ग मैन माना जाता है उत्तर प्रदेश में। जब उनकी स्टेट में उनके सेंटेंस को सस्पेंड किया जाता है तो सवाल यही उठाया जाएगा कि हमारे देश में जिसके पास पैसा है, जिसके पास पावर है, उसी को न्याय मिल सकता है।
बिल्कुल हमारी बच्चियां वैसे ही कुचली जाएंगी। ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं होना चाहिए, क्योंकि आप ये सोचिए ना कि एक ही नहीं है, हजारों सैकड़ों लाखों में लोग जेल में भरे हैं। तब तो सब लोग कहेंगे कि हमारी फांसी की सजा हुई है उसको हटा के, हमारी उम्र कैद की सजा हुई है उसको हटा के आप सुनवाई करिए। तो ये तो बिल्कुल नहीं होना चाहिए। हमारा पुलिस से, कोर्ट से, सरकार से सबसे अपील है कि जो भी अपील उनकी है, जो भी विक्टिम का केस है, उसको देखते हुए जिस तरह से उनकी सजा है उसको बरकरार रखते हुए ही सुनवाई कीजिए। और जो भी आपका फैसला है बच्चियों के हित में होना चाहिए, विक्टिमों के हित में होना चाहिए, समाज के हित में होना चाहिए।
आशा जी, आपने कई बार समाज के लिए कई सारे ऐसे इश्यूज हैं जिसके लेकर आपने मुहिम छेड़ा है। आज आप ऐसे उन्नाव की रेप विक्टिम के बारे में क्या कहना चाहेंगे, क्योंकि उनके पास कोई उपाय नहीं है, क्योंकि उनके पास ना ही ये पैसा है कि वो वापस कोर्ट में जाए, अर्जी लगाए, और उन लोगों के लिए कोई सुनवाई नहीं होने वाली है। उनके लिए कौन खड़ा रहने वाला है? कुलदीप सेंगर के लिए कई सारे लॉयर्स हैं, कई लोग हैं उनके लिए, पर उन्नाव के रेप विक्टिम, उनके लिए कौन खड़ा रहेगा?
देखिए, हम ऐसा नहीं सोच सकते कि हम उनके लिए कोई नहीं है। उनके लिए कोर्ट है, सरकार है, वहां की पुलिस है। उस परिवार को सहायता मिलनी चाहिए, सिक्योरिटी मिलनी चाहिए, और जो भी ये उस बच्ची के साथ घटना हुई है उसको इंसाफ मिलना चाहिए। जो भी ये सुनने में आ रहा है कि नहीं ये फैसला को अलग रख के सुनवाई चलेगी, तो ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं होना चाहिए, क्योंकि एक नया नियम बच जाएगा। जो भी मुजरिम है कहेंगे कि हमको जो सजा मिली है उससे हमको हटा के हम अपील करते हैं हमारी सुनवाई हो। तो एक तो हमारे देश में बच्चियां ऐसे ही असुरक्षित हैं। ऐसे फैसले हमारे समाज के लिए, हमारे बच्चों के लिए बिल्कुल सही नहीं है। तो ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। हमारे कोर्ट से, हमारी सरकार से, चाहे यूपी सरकार है, चाहे हमारी केंद्र सरकार है, हम सबसे अपील करते हैं कि उस बच्ची को इंसाफ मिले, निष्पक्ष जांच हो। जो भी ये सुनने को आ रहा है कि रूल की उनका फैसले को अलग रख के इसकी सुनवाई होगी या वो दिल्ली में रहेंगे, उसके पास नहीं जाएंगे, तो ऐसा कुछ ये बवंडर नहीं होना चाहिए। साफ सुथरा, चाहे उनकी अपील हो चाहे उनकी अपील हो, जिस तरह की सजा मिली है वो सजा को बरकरार रखते हुए इस पे सुनवाई होनी चाहिए। मैं तो यही चाहूंगी।
आशा जी, एक आखिरी सवाल करना चाहूंगा, क्योंकि ऐसे वक्त में कई लोग अपने आप को बेबस समझते हैं, और उन्नाव के रेप विक्टिम, उनके परिवार वालों के पास भी, जैसे कि मैंने आपको कहा है कि उनके पास इतना साधन नहीं है कि वो अपने लड़ाई को आगे बढ़ाए। इसीलिए सवाल यही उठता है कि ये वक्त आता है कि सबको एक मुहिम चलाना चाहिए कि आखिरकार अपने आवाज़ को सुनाना चाहिए, ताकि कोर्ट को ये सुनाई दे कि देश में लोग क्या सोचते हैं, कि क्या जिनके पास पैसा है, जिनके पास पावर है, क्या वही उनको ही न्याय मिलेगा? उनका क्या, जिनके पास ना पैसा है ना पावर है?
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। बिल्कुल हम लोग जैसे लोग इस चीज के लिए आवाज उठाएंगे। सरकार से, कोर्ट से हमारी रिक्वेस्ट है कि ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। अगर ऐसा होने लगे तो देश में 50% से ज्यादा अमीर लोग हैं, 50% ऐसे लोग हैं जिनके पास खाने के नहीं है, केस के लड़ने के लिए नहीं है। तो वैसे लोगों के लिए भी सरकार को और कोर्ट को इस बारे में सोचना चाहिए, और उस परिवार को हम सब लोगों का सपोर्ट मिलेगा। हम लोग उसके लिए आवाज उठाएं और उस बच्ची को, उस परिवार को इंसाफ मिलेगा।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आशा जी हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए, और यही चाहेंगे कि हर कोई इसको लेकर सवाल उठाए, क्योंकि आखिरकार हमारी आवाज़ कोर्ट तक पहुंचनी चाहिए कि कई लोग के पास कोई साधन नहीं है इस पूरे मुहिम को छेड़ने के लिए। इसीलिए आशा जी, आप और आप जैसे कई लोग अगर अपनी आवाज़ उठाएं तो ही ये कोर्ट तक पहुँच सकती है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आशा जी।
Horrific scenes from a train that was carrying our athletes. They were going for national championships, 18 of them, and mostly underage, forced to sleep near lavatories because they were without tickets. And all that was happening in freezing conditions. Humiliation for the next-gen athletes, for the upcoming athletes of the country, has raised many, many questions. There's outrage on social media. We'll get you that big story on Trending with B. Rakshita at 7:30 p.m.
लिविंग रूम को एक बार फिर ओजी हैंगआउट बनाया है। बिजी टीवी टाइम वापस लाया है। Meet the TV that has it all. Busy TV. TV time is back.
भारत की तरक्की की असली ताकत उसके श्रमिक, जिनकी मेहनत को मिल रही है पहचान, जिसके वो हमेशा से थे हकदार, क्योंकि मोदी सरकार की गारंटी है हर श्रमिक का सम्मान।
श्रमेव जयते आज देश का मंत्र बन रहा।
सभी कामगारों को समय से न्यूनतम वेतन और युवाओं को नियुक्ति पत्र यानी नौकरी का भरोसा। महिलाओं को समान अवसर और समान वेतन, क्योंकि काम का मोल काबिलियत से होता है। फिक्स टर्म एम्प्लॉइज को सिर्फ 1 साल पर ग्रेच्युटी यानी मेहनत का हक बिना इंतजार। 40 वर्ष से अधिक की आयु के श्रमिकों को सालाना मुफ्त हेल्थ चेकअप और 40 करोड़ श्रमिकों को सामाजिक सुरक्षा की गारंटी। अब हर परिवार आश्वस्त। ये है लेबर रिफॉर्म्स। तो आइए मिलकर बनाएं श्रमिक सम्मान से आत्मनिर्भर भारत।
Protests have erupted across the country for saving the Aravalis. Republic investigation today takes you to yet another illegal mining site. While the government provided an unconvincing defence of the Supreme Court order, Aravalis continued to be blasted and mined in Haryana's Charkhi Dadri. The residents of Gudana village face serious threats due to the incessant blasting and mining. Here's another investigation of Republic TV. This time it's from Haryana's Gudana.
चले जाओ ना तो गोली मार देंगे, ये धमकियां देते हैं ये।
ब्लास्टिंग कण जाते हैं तो उसे कैंसर हो रहा है।
While the government attempts an unconvincing defense of the Supreme Court order, Republic moved to Haryana's Charkhi Dadri, to yet another location of Aravalis being illegally mined in broad daylight.
We are here in Charkhi Dadri district in the Gudana village. Now this is an illegal mining site that I am standing on. Behind me are clear live visuals of mining activities going on broad daylight. All this mining activity is illegal and has been stopped. However, the villagers have been trying to protect their agricultural land and they have been trying to protect their grazing fields. To the left of me is a 200 feet deep mine. Villagers here have informed us that all the mining activity happens at night. They are using blastings, they are using dynamite, and no safety equipment is being used.
In an explicit violation of the SC guidelines, Aravalis continue to be blasted and mined at night. From wells running dry to diseases spreading due to dust, villagers face the actual brunt.
मेरी यह है कि हमारे गांव में कैंसर पीड़ित 7-8 हो गए हैं, उसमें ब्लास्टिंग के कण जाते हैं पानी में। दोड़ा माइनिंग है, उसमें पानी लग रहा है, उससे पानी में ब्लास्टिंग कण जाते हैं तो उससे कैंसर हो रहा है और कईयों का सांस की बीमारी होगी। कोई नहीं, 60 साल से ऊपर आदमी है ना, वो सभी खाट पकड़ रहे हैं।
Caught on Republic camera were mounds and mounds of dust as North India struggles to breathe. This despite the court order. A trail of mined dust that never ends.
अभी ब्लास्टिंग होता कि धरती में कंपन होता, पाइपलाइन पूरी डैमेज हो जाती है।
यहाँ पे रात में भी ये ब्लास्टिंग करते हैं?
हाँ जी।
यहाँ पे रात में भी ये खनन करते हैं?
24 घंटा चलता खनन तो।
Unable to defend their natural heritage, villagers confess of having been threatened by illegal miners.
हमने पैर मास करी, लाखों रुपये लगाए, यहाँ पर गांव ने धरना दिया। बड़ी भारी भयंकर मी और आंधी तूफान में हमारा एक आदमी मर भी गया था यहाँ, और बार बार बिजली को हमने दे दी, लोकायुक्त में हमने लगा ली, डीसी का हमने लगा ली, खनन विभाग का हमने लगा ली, खनन मंत्री का हमने लगा ली, लेकिन हमारी कोई सुनाई को नहीं हो। तो काला काला का बड़ा 5-7 हाथ में बंदूक ले रहा है, चले जाओ ना तो गोली मार देंगे, ये धमकियाँ देते हैं ये।
The villagers have filed multiple applications to local authorities, but they allegedly kept mum.
मैंने डीसी के कम से कम 10 दरखास्त दे रखी हैं, हर महीने दरखास्त देता हूँ, ग्रीवेंस की भी देता हूँ। डीसी ने कोई कार्रवाई नहीं की, वो पता नहीं वो एप्लीकेशन कहाँ जमा होती है। और जो एमओ संची तलवार है उसको भी एप्लीकेशन कहीं दे दी, और संची तलवार को बार बार कहे कि मौका देख लो कि हमारा अवध पड़ रहा है, इसके अवध पड़ रहा है, ये देख लो पॉपुलेंट भी खड़ी हैं और ये 6 स्टॉक रखे हैं अवध, आज भी ये देख लो चले हुए हैं सभी गाड़ी, और प्रदूषण कांड बंद है, हमारी कोई सुनाई नहीं हो रही।
Authorities remain in bliss of ignorance while residents of Godana sleep every night under the fear of their roofs collapsing.
ये मेरा सारा मकान का दरार आ रही है जी, यहाँ मेरा ट्यूबवेल था, ट्यूबवेल भी फेल हो गया जी, इसलिए मैंने एक डिग्गी बनाई है, डिग्गी में उतरी आएगी, और डिग्गी इसलिए बनाई मेरे बाग में पौधा में पानी गल जाए, और यह दोपहर में इतनी अभी ब्लास्टिंग होती है, इस कारण ये देख लो जी सारी दरार आ गई, ये पड़ गया, मैं तो रात में सोता, मेरे को रात में पड़ गया तो मेरे तो मुश्किल हो गई जी।
Day and night, blasting continues and houses develop cracks, visible cracks.
ये जो अपने पहाड़ के अंदर जितना भी ब्लास्ट हो रहा है ना, बहुत ज़्यादा, हद से ज़्यादा ब्लास्ट हो रहा है, इसमें बबलिंग इतनी होती है कि कंपन बहुत ज़्यादा हो, और उस कंपन की वजह से पहले तो दरार आई, और अभी दरार आने के बाद में फिर इसी में रहते थे, इसके लिए हम बाहर रह रहे हैं। कुछ दिन के बाद में हमको ऐसा महसूस हुआ कि ये गिरेगा, तो इसको छोड़ के हम बाहर चले गए फिर, और क्या करें, बाहर रह रहे हैं अभी तंबू वगैरह तान के।
Not one, not two, but many houses in Godana have visible cracks due to incessant mining. People have been forced to vacate their houses for fear of them collapsing. Republic investigation on ground continues relentlessly. Meanwhile, villagers, their homes and the Aravalis continue to be at the mercy of authorities.
On This Is Exclusive, 7 p.m. this evening, we're getting you reports from Gujarat, Haryana and Rajasthan on the Aravali mining. They tell you that everything is as per book, but we show you how Supreme Court guidelines are being violated. It's on camera tonight at 7 p.m.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
Please stop! झुमका, तेरा झुमका, तेरा झुमका। Not there, मेरा काउंटर टॉप टूट जाएगा। तेरा झुमका।
मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी every day.
We are willing to put an end to this conflict via peaceful means based on the principles that I outlined in July last year when I spoke at the Foreign Ministry of Russia.
सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये ही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा। सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
We are willing to put an end to this conflict.
Hello and welcome. You're watching 6 Stories at 6 with me, Tanisha Avasthi. Let's get you started with the 6 stories that have set the agenda for today. Ladies and gentlemen, it was 8 years ago when a teenage girl from Unnao dared to speak against the unthinkable. Just 8 years ago, she was demanding justice. Her father was beaten to death. She was gang raped, her voice was silenced, and her father was beaten to death in custody for demanding justice. Today, the Delhi High Court has suspended the life sentence of Kuldeep Singh Sengar, the man convicted of destroying her childhood, her family. With a personal bond, weekly reporting, and a promise to stay away, that too 5 kilometers. He walks closer to freedom while she remains trapped in the shadows of trauma. The restrictions feel like hollow words when the very system that was meant to protect her has now hands her perpetrator for a lifeline pending appeal. For the survivor, for her lost father, for every other woman who's watching this who has ever feared that power will always triumph over pain, this order is not justice delayed. It is justice denied. The scars of Unnao have been ripped open, and the nation is left asking, how many more times must a victim bleed before the powerful finally pay?
8 years after a crime that exposed power, fear, and silence, the Unnao rape case is back in focus. The Delhi High Court today suspended the sentence of former BJP MLA Kuldeep Singh Sengar, convicted for the rape of a minor. Kuldeep Sengar rape sentence suspended pending appeal by the Delhi High Court has come across as a controversial order. The former BJP MLA has challenged the December 2019 trial court verdict in the rape case.
Delhi High Court has suspended the life sentence of Kuldeep Singh Sengar in the Unnao rape case. It was awarded to him. He was convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment by the trial court in the Unnao rape case. This is a division bench comprising of Justice Subramaniam Prasad and Justice Harish, Vedanath and Shankar. They pronounced this order. They said, we are suspending the sentence. A personal bond of 15 lakh rupees with 3 shorties shall be given. He is not allowed to come within 5 kilometers radius of the residence of the victim. He is directed to stay in Delhi during the pendency of his appeal. Ensure that he is available for completing the remaining part of the sentence in case he is found guilty. He is directed not to threaten the victim survivor or the mother. Deposit his passport and has to be before the police station once a week every Monday at 10 a.m.
But the court has imposed strict conditions. A 15 lakh rupee personal bond, weekly police reporting, surrendering passport to prevent foreign travel. The High Court also directed Sengar not to come within a 5-kilometer radius of the victim's house and not threaten her or her mother. Sengar has also been ordered to stay in Delhi. The court has warned that any violation of these conditions will lead to immediate cancellation of bail and his return to jail. Yet, despite these restrictions, one question echoes loudly. How does a man convicted of rape get a suspension of sentence at all? The case dates back to June 2017, when a 17-year-old girl was gang raped in Unnao of Uttar Pradesh. The accused was Kuldeep Singh Sengar, who was then a powerful sitting MLA. After the survivor spoke out, her father was arrested on false charges and later died in judicial custody. Sengar was eventually convicted in that case as well, establishing a chilling abuse of power. In December 2019, a Delhi court convicted Sengar of rape and sentenced him to life imprisonment. Sengar remains in custody for now, as bail has not been granted in the custodial death case. But the suspension of his life sentence has raised many questions.
And moving on to our other top story, the Aravali Hills are under threat after the Supreme Court's November 20 verdict that limited the legal protection to areas above 100 meters, sparking protests across Haryana and Rajasthan. Republic's investigation reveals illegal mining on pasture lands, homes cracking from blasting and high-tension electricity lines dangerously close to active pits. Experts have now warned that weakening protection could accelerate desertification, deplete the underground water, and even harm the agriculture. The dangers are real. In the year 2022, unregulated mining in Dadam village had led to a collapse that killed 5 people. Activists say that the verdict gives a green signal to mining lobbies. Republic now brings you the ground report exposing what already is happening on the ground.
There is uproar across North India after the Supreme Court's 20th November verdict, controversially redefining the Aravali Hills, limiting legal protection only to areas above 100 meters in elevation, a move that activists say could legitimize mining across large parts of the fragile mountain range. Anger has spilled onto the streets in Haryana, where environmental groups are staging protests, warning that the verdict gives a green signal to mining lobbies.
अभी आपने एक उदाहरण दिया था कि यहाँ से आप यहाँ से देख रहे थे, ये पहाड़ आप बता रहे हैं खानक पहाड़ है, यहाँ पे काफ़ी बड़े स्तर पर है वो हो रही है अपनी माइनिंग होती है, और आप उस गांव में है ना जाके देखिए सारा गांव बीमारियों से पीड़ित है, सांस की बीमारियाँ कुछ भी है। एक ये पहाड़ है जिसने इस पूरे तोशाम शहर को प्रोटेक्ट किया हुआ है, 35,000 की आबादी को प्रोटेक्ट कर रहा है ये पहाड़। तो जो अरावली की डेफिनेशन अब माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट द्वारा दी गई 100 मीटर से नीचे की पहाड़ियों को फोड़ा जाए, यदि इस तरह के पहाड़ हटा दिए गए तो फिर तो सारा एरिया ही प्रदूषित होगा, सब जनमानस का जीना दुभर हो जाएगा।
Experts say that the Aravalis act as a natural barrier against desertification, stopping the Thar Desert from advancing towards Delhi NCR. Diluting protection could have irreversible consequences for climate, groundwater, and agriculture. Even as protests grow, Republic continues its investigation into what is already happening on the ground. Our teams travel to Rajasthan and Haryana, uncovering multiple violations at active mining sites. These are the visuals from Sawalpura village in Sengar in Rajasthan, where mining operations are being carried out in the Aravali belt amid allegations of blatant violations of safety and environmental norms.
So this is the mining site where even right now mining is continuing, and they have this water tank, and there are two water pumps which continuously pumps out the water, which is not allowed to be pumped out in a dry state where already the water level is very low. We are also going to show you a little bit around. So you've seen that there are several things which is illegal about this entire illegal mining, and this predates the new accepted definition of Aravali, and we are showing you live on Republic's camera how this mining, which you can see on the camera right now, this is illegal in not just one or two ways but in multiple ways.
Republic's visuals expose a high-tension electricity line running directly above an active mining site. Safety norms require a minimum 32-meter distance, a rule that appears to be violated here, posing a serious risk to lives. In Haryana's Kanak village in Tosham, villagers allege blasting from nearby mines has caused cracks in homes. Residents complain of breathing problems, children falling sick, a direct fallout of unregulated mining.
Towards my right, you can see the hills, which is just around a kilometer away. And in this village, due to the mining and due to the blasting, there has been cracks all across the village. You can see that the condition of the house is not livable. Apart from that, if we talk about people of this village are having breathing problems, they are asthmatic, and they have been protesting all across.
The dangers became tragically real in Dadam village in 2022, where illegal and excessive mining led to a collapse that killed at least 5 people. Investigations blamed over-exploitation and unscientific mining.
In the year 2022, in Dadam area of Tosham in Bhiwani district, a tragedy struck in which around 5 people lost their life. But what was the reason of the people who died due to this tragedy? Behind me, let me show you the visual here. This is the Aravali range in Tosham area, and this is the Dadam area, where due to over-exploitation and unscientific way of mining, a tragedy took place in the year 2022. After that, the NGT and the Punjab and Haryana High Court took suo motu regarding this. You can see clearly there has been a huge ravage behind me where there has been done over-exploitation of mining.
As protests intensify and violations continue, activists warn the Supreme Court verdict could accelerate destruction of the Aravalis. The Republic will continue to expose illegal mining and demand accountability.
And this is not just about one state. There are many states for the past couple of days where protests have erupted across the states for saving the Aravalis. The Republic investigation today takes you to yet another illegal mining site. While the government provided an unconvincing defense of the Supreme Court order, the Aravalis have continued to blast and mine in Haryana's Charkhi Dadri area. The residents of that village face serious threat due to incessant blasting and mining. Here is an investigation that exposes how the illegal mining is being carried out, and this is a grave violation.
चले जाओ ना तो गोली मार देंगे ये धमकियां देते हैं ये
ब्लास्टिंग कण जाते हैं तो उसे कैंसर हो रहा है.
While the government attempts an unconvincing defense of the Supreme Court order, Republic moved to Haryana's Charkhi Dadri, to yet another location of Aravalis being illegally mined in broad daylight.
We are here in Charkhi Dadri district in the Gudana village. Now this is an illegal mining site that I am standing on. Behind me are clear live visuals of mining activities going on broad daylight. All this mining activity is illegal and has been stopped. However, the villagers have been trying to protect their agricultural land and they have been trying to protect their grazing fields. To the left of me is a 200 feet deep mine. Villagers here have informed us that all the mining activity happens at night. They are using blastings, they are using dynamite, and no safety equipment is being used.
In an explicit violation of the SC guidelines, Aravalis continue to be blasted and mined at night. From wells running dry to diseases spreading due to dust, villagers face the actual brunt.
मेरी यह है कि हमारे गांव में कैंसर पीड़ित 7-8 हो गए हैं. उसमें ब्लास्टिंग के कण जाते हैं पानी में. दोड़ा माइनिंग है उसमें पानी लग रहा है, उससे पानी में ब्लास्टिंग कण जाते हैं तो उसे कैंसर हो रहा है और कईयों का सांस की बीमारी होगी. कोई नहीं 60 साल से ऊपर आदमी है ना वो सभी खाट पकड़ रहे हैं.
Caught on Republic camera were mounds and mounds of dust as North India struggles to breathe. This despite the court order. A trail of mined dust that never ends.
अवध अभी ब्लास्टिंग होता है कि धरती में कंपन होता पाइपलाइन पूरी डैमेज हो जाती है.
यहाँ पे रात में भी ये ब्लास्टिंग करते हैं?
हाँ जी.
यहाँ पे रात में भी ये खनन करते हैं?
24 घंटा चलता खनन तो.
Unable to defend their natural heritage, villagers confess of having been threatened by illegal miners.
हमने पैर मास करी लाखों रुपये लगाए यहाँ पर गांव ने धरना दिया. बड़ी भारी भयंकर मी और आंधी तूफान में हमारा एक आदमी मर भी गया था यहाँ और बार बार बिजली को हमने दे ली, लोकायुक्त में हमने लगा ली, डीसी का हमने लगा ली, खनन विभाग का हमने लगा ली, खनन मंत्री का हमने लगा ली, लेकिन हमारी कोई सुनाई को नहीं हो. तो काला काला का बड़ा 5-7 और हाथ में बंदूक ले रहा है. चले जाओ ना तो गोली मार देंगे ये धमकियां देते हैं ये.
The villagers have filed multiple applications to local authorities, but they allegedly kept mum.